Gather around, freaks. Can I borrow a match while I use a lighter? Better still, until they go wrong. So gather around the internet transmitter and gather around the internet dagger shoe, because it's time once again for Hey, did you see this one?
Hello, 007. You're about to embark on a high-stakes mission that could shake the foundations of pulp culture. Your objective: dive into a certain franchise with a sharp, action-packed analysis. Infiltrate the world of espionage and glitz, dissecting the cunning of your foes, the allure of your vehicles, and your iconic gadgets. Prepare to tackle sensitive topics that could spark heated debates. Everything from the ethics of MI6 to the subtext in Goldfinger. This mission captures the essence of danger and allure. Your findings may attract the attention from rival podcasters and covert organizations. Harness your charisma, stay cool under pressure, and create a podcast that leaves the listeners breathless. Good luck, 007, because this month, Hey, Did You See This One invites you to the big book of British bonds.
And welcome to Hey, Did You See This One? The weekly review, reaction, roundtable discussion podcast where we just have to ask, hey, did you see this one? On this show, we take a film and completely pull it apart, leaving no stone unturned. We are your co-hosts, Jason from Jason with Phillips. I'm joined as always by Stephen Boba Blackfly Waters.
That is me.
And
I said it before in a way funnier way.
Yeah, it was so funny. And it is episode 197, season 3, episode 48. If you're playing at home, we are opening the big book of British bonds once again. We did this last year. We covered Connery, Timothy Dalton, George Lazenby, and Roger Moore, I believe. This, however, is
George Laserbeam. Say it right.
You also said that before. We're doing From Russia with Love. This is James Bond 2. Okay. And we are
Could you
joined.
imagine if they went with that naming convention for James Bond movies? James Bond 1, James Bond 2, James Bond 3. It wouldn't work because we're at like 26 now. Anyway,
it's
continue.
And they're all. It was also like at the very end, I noticed it's like James Bond will return in the next movie, kind of like what they do with the Marvel movies now. So, I think Kevin Feige.
I wonder where Marvel got that from.
Yeah, I wonder if they got that from. Anyway, I would like to welcome back to the show a cosplayer extraordinaire, an actor extraordinaire, and a writer extraordinaire. Now in the 5 Times Club.
Welcome to the 5 Timers Club. I never thought this would happen.
I can't believe this is happening. Oh my God, they're so beautiful.
I don't know if you guys can hear the guy at the very end going, "Oh my God, they're so beautiful." It's very funny to me.
Bee Dawley, everybody. Welcome back to the show, Bee Dawley, everybody. There we go. How does it feel to be part of the 5 Times Club?
Way more fun than the Mile High Club. Wait, what? Who said that? Usually I get called back a second time, let alone 5 times. This is great for me.
Excellent. I was hoping that you would take that again. That's what she said. God damn it. That's right. We're covering From Russia with Love, and that's been our show for this week. We're just here to test it out. Thank you for the people in the chat. Thank you for the people that messaged Steve and behind the scenes, because we had a massive technical difficulty. But we're moving on from that. Why don't we see what Zardos is up to? I think he might have a question.
Zardos speaks to you. He demands you synopsize this film. Tell him how, why, who, what occurs in this film.
Great. It's time for a brief synopsis of From Russia with Love. Stephen, would you be willing to tell us what's up in this film this week?
I mean, I can I can try. This movie has a lot going on, but it's also kind of hard to follow, especially when you're having a mental breakdown and trying to focus on a movie and can only think about all the stuff you have to do. But I'll try. So this movie is about it's sort of like a Russian Secret Service versus the British Secret Service across all of Europe and beyond. But the main crux of it is that they're trying to get this device that can decode secret transmissions between secret not societies, but secret agents, and it'll eventually prevent a new like world war. Basically, it's like a device that'll decode secret transmissions, and James Bond needs to get this, and he is being thwarted by, once again, SPECTRE, who are trying to take revenge for the death of their claw-handed Dr. No by taking James Bond out while also getting this device. But it seems more like they're trying to kill James Bond than they are trying to get the device, but that's besides the point. But we go on, basically, a James Bond needs a lady to help him in order to decode a code that will then allow him to use the device. It's all this sort of like complicated bullshit, but it's fun and good. But a lot of it takes place on a train, which is kind of the best part. It's sort of like James Bond's take on the murder on the Orient Express. Like, people are getting murdered on this train and there's mystery going on. And they basically are changing hands with this device constantly throughout the movie. And they're being thwarted by like a chess master, basically. So Blofeld has hired a chess master who can think 20 moves ahead. And in basically any evil plan that he comes up with, he should be able to succeed. The one factor that he didn't take into consideration is that he'd be going up against James Bond, the one man that you cannot think 20 moves ahead for, because he doesn't think at all. He just acts. He never has a plan. Yeah, but they get the device, and that's kind of the movie, is just like the transportation of this device.
That's true. I'd like to point out also that I'm pretty sure that Blofeld is just a question mark in the credits at this point. Like,
yeah, it's not clear, but he has the cat, and it's But Blofeld, they didn't reveal his face. He's like Dr. Claw, basically, from Inspector Gadget in this movie. He's petting a cat the whole time. You don't see his face, and then in movies that come after this, you will eventually see all the different actors that play him. I'm pretty sure it was Max von Sydow in this movie, doing the voice at least.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right? Am I wrong?
Let's take a look. What is his name even in the credits on Anthony Dawson?
Oh, maybe it isn't him. Well, sounds like him. Yeah. I thought it was him because I believe he does play him at some point in a future film.
I think in the one that we watched where he just like was fully in it, I think that's Max von Sydow, as I recall. Well, that's great. Thank you for that. It is actually time.
No, that wasn't Max von Sydow. Sorry, I was like, what movie are you talking about? It's the Lazenby one. He's like a random. He's not a random, but it's not Max von Sydow. We haven't seen him yet in any of the movies that we've watched.
Oh, is he just a character in the movie? Like just one of his.
Blofeld shows up in what's it called? On Her Majesty's Secret Service, but it's not Max von Sydow that plays him. It's a different actor.
Right.
But he's played by a different actor in pretty much every movie that he appears. Sort of like Felix Leiter changes and James Bond changes. So does Blofeld. Anyway, that's besides the point.
That's yeah. That is the plot of the movie. That is a good synopsis. Why don't we talk about our brief histories and talk a little bit about our histories with James Bond if you have never seen this movie? How about?
Whoa, a brief history? It's almost
A brief history.
A brief history.
I made that. It's not bad.
very good.
Thank you. Thank you. They get progressively worse. They get progressively worse as I ran out of time. Wait till you see the body of the episode. Ho ho ho. B, why don't you give us your brief history with this film if you have seen it or if you have a history? If not, why don't you tell us a little bit about your history with James Bond?
Sure. So I've actually never seen this movie or any James Bond movie ever. But I have seen the Austin Powers movies, so I figured I would like them. As it turns out, I thought this movie was boring as shit. It was hot potato with gadgets. And, like, bad transatlantic accents. Like, even the Russians had, like, bad transatlantic or, like, Russian accents. It was so boring. I had to watch it in parts. I don't think I'm a James Bond fan, guys.
No, this movie is, it's not as good as Dr. No. It's pretty, even Dr. No, like some would consider that boring, but I don't because of the kooky nature of it. This one didn't have enough kookiness in it for it to be really that great. There are some great parts, but overall I was also kind of like, I forgot I was watching a movie and I started thinking about something else and I haven't paid attention for 15 minutes. What's going on?
I like this movie better when it was Austin Powers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Austin Powers in this one, yeah.
It is very like this is what a James Bond movie is in the worst way possible. It feels like this one should have come way later in the series when he's much more established and like you're into it and you just want to see him, traveling around Europe. But god damn it, sometimes I was just like, this is the second one. When are we getting to the late 70s? I just
finished the movie just wanting to slap Sean Connery the way Sean Connery wants to slap women.
Yeah, he's terrible in this also.
I figured I'd be able to sit through it because he's hot, but that didn't even save it.
Fuck. Yeah, no, I think it doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities for a James Bond movie. There's so many James Bond movies that are difficult to get through, but there are at least things that hold your attention. We did the Roger Moore one last year, and that movie is like so bananas and like it's borderline offensive the entire time, but at least there's this sort of cartoonishness to it that you can appreciate, and you're having a fun time along with the movie. And it doesn't necessarily feel like it is being horribly offensive, even though it kind of is. This movie, though, it's just like the cartoonishness isn't cartoonish enough. It feels like they're trying to go for it, but they're like, oh, we got to pull it back. It needs to be more realistic because people complained about the robot hands in the last movie, so we can't have something like that again. And it's like, no. That's what I liked about the first movie. I liked that the guy destroyed his own hands and had to make crazy robot claws.
My thing for this one was
dry. It made me dry.
Oh, Jesus.
Like my lady garden is now a fucking desert. There are tumbleweeds. Sean Connery.
How do you follow up that? The first movie had like so much ridiculous stuff, like Steve said, but it also had that ridiculous tank with the fire scene, and I was like, this movie's boring, but it's going to be redeemed by some ridiculous piece of technology. And I think the most ridiculous thing in this, the most James Bondy thing, is the Roma camp. I don't know if we can say what they say in the movie. I don't think it's
an outdated term. I think we all know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Roma. We'll stick with Roma. That's what I wrote in my notes. That whole sequence is cuckoo bananas James Bond nonsense. But the rest of it is just like, well, now we're on a train, and now I'm going to chop this guy, and now I'm going to go over here and talk to this guy about nonsense. It's very hard to follow because they're just using a lot of like weird technical terms for things and talking about different places, and it's just I don't know who's like, is this for people that like movies like The Hunt for Red October and just like technical military?
I think they probably were like, we need to ground it a little bit more. We're gonna take something that's legitimately scary to us at this day in this day and age, which is, you know, the red threat of Russia. The scary Russians are gonna come get you, and they have some goofy shit in it, but they also have too much dryness. Like you said, it's like you're not really having fun. Even the gadgety stuff. Like, I know this is the second movie, so that they haven't really totally found their footing yet into what people like about James Bond movies. So this is them going in a different direction from the first one, and I think realizing like, oh, we need to go back to the kooky stuff because that's what people are into. Even though they have, you know, a faceless man petting a cat and kicking people with a shin blade or whatever, a poison blade in your shoe. But like, it's not enough. And, you know, I've seen this movie before, but as soon as I put it on, I'm like, have I? Why is he wearing so much makeup? Oh, it's a mask. Okay, got it. And like, I like that. I was like, oh, it's fun. It's somebody who was disguised. I get it. But then, you know, they set that kind of expectation and it just never meets it again. And they have sort of the classic sequences, but it's not in the direction that you want it to be. So like, you want to see James Bond go into a laboratory with a bunch of devices in it, and he gets to pick his gadgets and all that kind of stuff. You don't really get that, but you do get a weird training ground of these essentially like super soldiers, where this, you know, elderly woman is like, I need to pick the best. And she's like, I think she's supposed to be like the Frau von Bissena kind of thing. And she like punches a guy as hard as she can. And she's like, well, he's certainly tough enough. Like that kind of stuff. I like it. But like I said, there's not enough. There's not enough.
The Bond villain in this is just a strong guy. Just a strong man who can take it.
Just happened before. You know, not every James Bond movie has a guy who throws his hat or a guy with metal teeth or, you know, a zombie.
But they should.
Yeah.
You asked who this movie was for? It was for data analysts named Robert who fucking collect toy trains.
Oh my god! Whoa. So oddly specific.
That's who liked this movie.
Yeah,
like the most boring guy you know probably jerks it to this movie.
It's weird because like I went in being like, I definitely have seen this, and I know people like this one, and I think they even made a video game with this setting and everything, and like, so I'm like, it must be one of the best ones. And then I watched it and was like, oh my god, I'm having so much trouble. I watched it yesterday, fell asleep. And then I was trying to like do all my work today so that I could watch it before the show. And then I'm like, I can probably paint while I watch this. And so I like was painting and then also trying to pay attention, and I had to keep rewinding it. And I got the painting done. And then I was like, okay, focus. And then my phone just kept coming up. I'm like, oh no, this is bad.
Yeah.
It also one of my dark theories.
Watch something. It just
got published today. So I kept like, I got to check the comments. I need to check the comments. Do people love me or hate me? But yeah, my first time watching this, can't remember it because as I put it on, I was like, I don't know if I've seen this. And then the more I went into it, the more I'm like, I'm definitely have seen, there's like echoes of shadows of ghosts in my mind of this movie, but none of it stuck. And I guarantee you, like a year from now, I'm once again not going to remember a single thing. I'm even having trouble remembering what happened in it, and I watched it today. My brain is like, no, get rid of that. We have other valuable information in here. You don't need this.
I would have watched this on TBS with my grandmother when I was like 7, and I had the same thing, like all the shadows in my mind. But it has a lot of like Austin Powers clearly pulled a lot of little things from this James Bond setting. Like that one character is this, I think you mentioned is basically the woman from the Austin Powers movies.
Ralph Bissena.
Yes. See, and that's why when you asked me which James Bond movie I wanted to do, I picked this one because I knew that this was the one that Austin Powers had referenced the most.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to go with the Austin Powers-iest one.
No, you should have
picked GoldenEye
or one of the Roger Moore ones, because the Roger Moore ones, at least they almost feel like Austin Powers movies a lot of the time, just the level of goofy stuff that goes on in them.
This was just joyless. It was like if you got Austin Powers directed by Josh Trank.
I can tell you right now, in the one we did, what was it called? The one where they're in like Louisiana and stuff, and New Orleans. It's like, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but there's a moment where there's a part where they exile him on a tiny little island inside of basically a swamp, and it's surrounded by alligators, and they throw a bunch of chicken in the water, so that all these alligators are like chomping, and they're coming for James Bond, and James Bond just runs across all their backs like a cartoon character, like across the entire swamp. And I'm like, okay, this movie maybe rules. Like he also went full Bugs Bunny mode for a moment.
That movie has Harlem in it, and you can't beat 70s Harlem in a fucking it turns into a blaxploitation movie for almost 2 full acts.
Yeah,
before he goes to Louisiana. Yeah,
and it's good.
It's very fun.
This movie, on the other hand, not that great. So
we're gonna get through it.
my brief history is I don't remember, and I don't even remember watching it twice this week. Practically, Did you see how hard I was struggling to get through the synopsis? I was like, I think this happened. Does that happen? I don't remember.
The Dakota, I think it's called
and I'm pretty good at absorbing cinema, but not this time. So,
I had to Wikipedia the whole movie plot because I kept zoning out.
Do not feel shame, because I also had to do that. All right. So, I mean, I don't really have a lot to talk about, but let's go into the production talk anyway.
All right. Quiet on set. Are we rolling? Okay, let's shoot this piece of shit. Sound. Speed. Action!
I just pulled a picture off the internet for that
was
one.
Just like a Google Images search.
Yeah, it wasn't AI though. It wasn't AI, and it's hard now because when you just Google things, AI bullshit pops up. So,
yeah, I'm gonna put my foot down on no AI images, please.
No AI. Yes, I wouldn't do that anyway. Images specifically, but this movie was only $2 million to make, and they really did not stretch the budget. They made a $2 million movie, but then guess what happened? It made between $70 and $100 million because people are like, that fucking Sean Connery, and they set up the huge sequel. So obviously sequel. This movie felt like a $2 million movie because they really just would go to a room and then say a bunch of dialogue and then go to another room and then say a bunch more.
Yeah, well, we also have to take into consideration that this movie was made in the early 60s. It's not, we have decades and decades and decades of like comparative notes from action movies and what James Bond movies have become since the inception, which is the second one. They have not really found their footing. But that being said, I would rather watch Chitty Chitty Bang Bang twice in a row, on a loop than watch this again, because at least I would be having fun with the music. I was also trying to like keep notes of improvements in this movie from Dr. No. And like the main one that I had was like, oh, they're not just playing the James Bond theme song every time he does stuff, which is one of the biggest complaints of Dr. No, is like anytime he was doing anything, the Bond theme, like the guitar riff, would just be playing, and he'd be walking around a hotel making phone calls and looking at newspapers and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I never thought I would say this, but stop playing the James Bond theme in a James Bond movie, please.
It looks visibly better. That's one thing I noticed immediately. There is a score through it, like you mentioned. It's the first appearance of like a song for the movie. It's the first appearance of a James Bond intro with the girls dancing and the things projected on them, which is, what's good. It was cool. And it really kind of is the first James Bond that has all of the elements that we know from James Bond. The first one felt like a prototype. It's a better movie because it's more fun, but this is like the quintessential like James Bond experience, and it's the first one. So I do give it its flowers for that at least. And they stretched that budget, that I really want to talk about when we get to it, obviously, but that last stretch, that last action sequence stretch is so fucking good, like so awesome that it kind of made up for all the dry, boring stuff. Like they really just, there was explosions and chases and helicopters exploding and all kinds of cool stuff.
Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's like saying the one action sequence in the movie Doom makes up for the rest of the movie Doom.
Hey,
You have
that
to
first-person shooter
that
sequence.
bullshit to get to the one cool sequence. The one cool sequence is not worth it.
I'm with you, B. Don't get me wrong. I after so much boring, I was with you guys. I couldn't understand what the plot really was. I just knew that this decoder needed to be. You said hot potato with something.
Yeah, it's kind of being passed back and forth, and people are trying to get it. He's got it, she's got it, then this guy's got it, then he's got it again. It's like, okay, this is not really a plot that's interesting to me, at least, especially when a lot of it is on the train. But I like trains. I always like when people are eating on a train in a movie. I like when there's somebody like, here's your menu, sir, on a train. I'm like, this is cool. I want to be on a train where they feed me. Still, I've never done it. But again, I mentioned Chitty Chitty Bang Bang earlier, it's so glaringly obvious at points where they're on a studio lot. Movies have gotten quite good at hiding the fact that they're on a sound stage these days. And now that with the invention of the volume or whatever, it kind of went backwards a little bit for a little while there, where it's like, oh, they feel like they're on a soundstage because they just have a pile of sand with a bunch of LED screens behind them.
Yeah,
but I think they're slowly figuring that technology out as well, in the same way that in these old movies, it's like that part where they're playing chess. It's like, this is so obviously a soundstage just based on where the camera is in the room and how large everything is. They just built this giant ass set from one angle and they had to film everything from the same angle or whatever. And it reminded me of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So I'm watching that, or Wizard of Oz or something, where I'm like, this feels fanciful and not grounded and realistic in the way that this movie is trying to make itself feel. So to me, it's like adding this layer of fancy and whimsy that shouldn't be there, and that is not being supported by anything that's happening in the movie. So it's like, it's not making the scene better. If anything, the sets are almost removing the tension away from what's happening, because you're looking around at everything. Remember when they're moving those giant fucking placards when they're playing chess so that everybody in the room can see? I have no idea if that's a real thing or not, but it just made it feel like I was in watching Alice in Wonderland or something, or Candyland. I'm like, what is this? Obviously they're playing chess. I understand that. And this guy is being summoned, so he's just going to win the game now. That's how good he is at chess. He's just enjoying playing chess with this guy and toying with him. Now that he has to go, though, he's going to win the game immediately, just to show us how cool he is. But sorry, I'm getting into the bottom.
That's true. I have a couple random kind of fun facts. Production wise, it took 4 months from scripting to release. So they just slammed this movie out. JFK, it was JFK's favorite Ian Fleming novel, and he got to see this 2 days before he got assassinated. And it is Sean Connery's favorite James Bond, and I have to just editorialize and say it's probably because he punches a woman in the face a couple times.
I don't know if that's why it's his favorite movie. I don't know if we should say that about a dead person, but I'd speculate that it's because he got to eat a bunch of train food. I got to eat so much train food on that one; it was great. Or maybe he loves punching people in the face. I don't know, specifically women.
He did go on saying that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've seen the video. I've seen the video of him saying that he would. It's to stop them from being hysterical or whatever the fuck he said. It was psychopathic old man bullshit. Yeah. Barbara Walters should have kicked him in the dick and be like, "That's what I think of you."
She just stood up and drop kicked him through a plate glass window.
Yeah.
Oh, I 100% would have. If that was me.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like I could have taken him down. I feel like I'm taller than him.
You're probably taller than Sean Connery in 1963.
I think we looked it up before, and he's like 6'1" or something. I think is his height.
Okay, so he's got an inch on me.
Right.
Yeah. You would stand toe to toe with Sean Connery, though, at least. So, might be a fair fight. He's got all those gadgets, though. I don't have anything else left to say about the production, because movies that are this old, a lot of the production talk is unreliable, and I don't have time to look into a lot of it. So. The only thing I wanted to mention is that I think it's interesting that the first real gadget and the first appearance of Q is just an attaché case. Because after this, surely it's got to get better, and they just wanted to get that one out of the way, right?
It's not that they wanted to get it out of the way. It's just like that's what it was. Like that's what they thought would be cool.
Yeah.
They're like, look, it's a briefcase full of a bunch of shit you can use. Oh, handy.
It's got doubloons in it.
And then when they go to the next movie, they're like, we got to make it a better. He's got to have crazier devices than this. But it like goes from the first movie was like the scanner for, was it radiation? I can't remember. Where he's scanning. He's like, bleep, bleep, he's got all those like weird devices to take readings. That was the technological sort of threshold that they hit. And then in this one, it's like you've got a briefcase that has a collapsible sniper rifle in it and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It only
Should we
gets
get
better
into
from
it?
here, folks. Yeah, let's do the body of the episode.
Ho, 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 ho! Everybody back up, because here comes the body of the episode.
I was pretty proud of that one. I thought I did a good job with it. But that's gonna do it, isn't it? That's gonna do it, isn't it?
Pervert.
Oh man. That's
So,
right.
this movie,
James Bond in the Goblet of Fire. James Bond 2 seems to be higher quality already. That's my initial thought. But the opening to this movie is interesting. It's like a James Bond, quote unquote, is on a spy mission, trying to infiltrate. We get flashes of the buff guy. I think his name's Pluto Nash.
no.
Something
His
Nash.
name's what is his name? Dennis Rodman? No, his name is Cisco? No. His name is the Goldilocks gang. What is his name? His name is Crane. Is his name Crane?
Nash.
Nash. Is his name Nash?
Something Nash.
I think it's. Are we certain? Are we certain?
I am certain.
Okay, Grant. His name's Grant.
Grant Nash.
He's following a lot. He has like a shock of crazy like lightning blonde hair, and he is following James Bond through what looks to be like a hedge maze or some shit, and easily dispatches him. They fight for a second, and then he strangles him to death with a garrote wire attached to his wristwatch.
Yeah, and then the credits roll, and that's the whole movie. We'll see you next week.
But the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, why the fuck is Sean Connery got so much makeup on? He looks like a ghost. Like, it's crazy how much makeup they've put on him. And I was like, this, and I'm like, wait, is it going to be, he's wearing a mask or something? It's not going to be him. Like, it's somebody wearing makeup, like a fake nose. And then it wasn't a fake nose, but it was just a rubber Sean Connery mask that they cartoonishly take off. So I'm like, oh, they've set me up for like, I like this weird Scooby-Doo shit that they're doing. That's fun. Because it's clearly Sean Connery just with makeup on, and then it cuts to the guy on the ground, and he's clearly wearing like a crappy Sean Connery molded face, and they pull it off, and it's some dude with a mustache. He then assumes this guy's identity, doesn't he? He's pretending to be this guy for the rest of the movie, I think.
Okay.
After he's selected by the villains.
I immediately thought it was Felix Leiter. I was like, "Oh shit, they're subverting something here?" And I was like, because Felix Leiter kind of looks like he could be just like a blonde guy if he was played by a different actor, but no, that's not the case. But before we get any more information, after this guy takes out not James Bond and his hilarious mask just kind of falls off, we get the first ever James Bond ladies dancing around intro, and it is belly dancing. So that was all right.
It's human flesh with projected credits onto the bodies with colorful lights, and it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's all right. A lot
music video in the 90s that did that too.
Yeah, it felt like a. It felt like a 90s music video for sure. But this is sort of setting the groundwork for what is to come afterwards, because I think the next movie in sequential order is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which comes after this and has a much better opening sequence, and in my opinion, a much better opening song. It's one of my favorites.
What do you mean? The next movie is Goldfinger. I almost said Goldmember.
Is it Goldfinger? I can't remember. Well,
Yeah.
It's like okay. Well, I'm wrong.
She was Goldmember. Gold member is awesome.
Every time B interjects, it's just gonna be like, "I wish this was Austin Powers."
That's just the tagline of this film. I wish it was Austin Powers.
Right. There's actually a couple more before Majesties. But anyway, the point being is that this is setting the tone for the movies to come. That's all the point that I was trying to make. And they only get better.
To correct you. The reason
the tone beige.
Yeah. The reason why I said it like that, Steven, is because I thought that maybe Goldfinger might have been like an out of time, like out of sequence story.
I just forgot.
I'm not trying to be like, oh, you're wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, the point I'm making is that this movie is setting the tone for the movies to come. And it does so successfully to the point that we still get those intros today. So clearly this movie did do something right, even though it did so much wrong, which was have scantily clad flesh in weird presentation. I don't know what my favorite ones are. I think that's something because I don't have a lot to say about this movie, so we might as well play the old "What's your favorite thing" in a James Bond game. So for me, I think on Her Majesty's Secret Service, GoldenEye and Skyfall are my three favorite opening songs and sequences. I think I'm gonna say
like the swimming one.
The swimming one. I think that's GoldenEye, or the GoldenEye has swimming in it. There's like people like floating.
Yeah,
and they're all.
And I think they use that a couple times. Not necessarily the whole
Fair.
Focal point of it, but I think they have that. Also, the movie Spy Hard uses it. Remember the movie Spy Hard, the parody of.
I remember that Weird Al's head blows up.
Yeah,
we should have done that.
Also,
movie.
probably a better movie.
Yeah, the movie is better than this. I can't remember what the point that I was making was. Oh, I was just asking if you guys have a favorite one. Those are my three favorites, I think. I like GoldenEye or Goldfinger too. It's pretty good. The song is good, but I don't really remember what the intro video was.
I really like. Whoa! I really like Diamonds. The song.
That's what happens when Jason thinks about naked ladies.
I
really like
Mr. Wembley.
I really like Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Mm-hmm.
That one's good. Heather Graham kills it in that. Also, I like the name Pussy Galore. I don't know what movie that's from.
Pussy Galore, I believe, is from. I want to say Thunderball, but I might be wrong.
That is a James Bond movie and not an Austin Powers one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
or is that from Octopussy?
Pussy Galore is Gold member, according to Sweetheart Pro Wrestling.
Gold member? Goldfinger?
Goldfinger. Gold. Oh, is it Gold member? Oh my God! What is
was
happening?
it Austin Powers?
No, that's a lot of
James Bond.
That's a
lot of vagina. A lot of vagina. I like Xenia Onatop from GoldenEye. Also,
I don't know how we got into this. I was talking about intro sequences only, not not fucking favorite Bond woman.
Because I have nothing to contribute to that.
Oh, I see.
What is happening? Oh my
Everybody's losing their minds already. Okay, well, let's move on beyond that. I think the song at the beginning, it's not the actual From Russia with Love song that they're playing for some reason. They play it at the end, but it was fine.
Actually,
I don't really remember it too clearly. It doesn't stick out to me as anything too impressive or great.
It's kind of like a R&B kind of a song. We'll get to it. Comes up actually earlier than the ending. They play it at the beginning of the movie too.
What I mean to say is they don't play it in the opening credits. It's like as they do in all the other movies, because as James Bond evolved, those intro sequences basically became music videos for pop culture icons. Like people who are huge in whatever genre of music they're at the top of. Those are the people that they would go to get the intro sequences, theme songs made. And people vie for it. Sometimes people will just make them and send them to the studios to be like, I made one. And they'll be like, we didn't ask you to do that, Neil Diamond. Johnny Cash, stop sending us your James Bond songs for not making one right now.
James Bond.
He's a Bond. He has a bond with his mother. It's a Bond, man. Anyway, let's move on to the body of the episode.
Right. So the first thing after the belly dance intro is the chess game opening, which we kind of talked about. We're introduced to, I think he's called number 2, but he's also named Kronsteen, which we'll find out later. He's a chess champion. Apparently that chess set that they were playing on is like $100,000 or something. They like got this incredibly rare chess set to just do the scene for. I have it in my notes here. But that's really interesting to me because like, does that include it in the budget, or is that just like, we got a cool chess set?
They probably just rented it.
Yeah. But he gets called away, and then he just wins chess, which is
so. I have a funny
cool
anecdote.
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of Taskmaster recently, and there was an episode where they're like 2 Taskmasters are playing chess, and in between they would pick up the chess pieces and eat them like they're made of like cheese or something. And this is how my brain was having such a difficult time watching this movie that when I was thinking about it today, I'm like, is there a part where the 2 guys eat their chess pieces? And I'm like, or do I have early onset dementia? What's going on here? I combined episodes of Taskmaster with James Bond. In my defense, they are both British entertainment. So that's my story. I hope you guys liked it.
Oh man. Sweetheart Pro Wrestling says, I had one job, match the right Bond movie with a vaguely vulgar female character name, and I still blew it.
Still blew it is the vaguely vulgar female character name in the next one.
Yeah, that's the gold member Bond girl. Vaguely blew it.
Stiletto blew it.
Where's Noel? Noel comes up with the great names for Bond.
That was a task we did last year. Was everybody come up with a Bond girl name and a James Bond movie name, and mine was Penelope Bang Bang, and the movie was Tomorrow Died Yesterday. Still good, I think. I'm gonna stick with those.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Are we doing that too? Do I have to start thinking?
Yeah, we'll save it to the end if you can think of one throughout the show. Yeah.
So we're introduced for the first time to a man with a ring and a white cat who has a very menacing voice. He's watching Fighting Fish.
I'm so surprised that was not Max von Sydow. It sounds exactly like him. But you know, I guess a lot of people sound like that. You find a guy from an Eastern European country, or you know, slightly like Swedish or German or Austrian or something.
That's right. Also, this character's name is question mark in this movie because we aren't formally introduced to him. I think he's also referred to as maybe number one. Number one. But he talks about the Fighting Fish and references SPECTRE, which was introduced in the first movie. It's sort of like the anti-spy league of extraordinary villains.
Yeah. They're
an
acronym for something wild.
For some, like, they came up with SPECTRE and went backwards, clearly.
Oh, the R stands for revenge and the T stands for terrorism. I know that much. But I can't remember what the other letters are.
They're going to steal some sort of electric decoding device, the Thekler, which is also an acronym, as I learned from reading through my notes that I have here. And the woman reminds me of the woman from Austin Powers. Her name is Klebb, Rosa Klebb, who is the same as what's the character's name in Austin Powers? I need to fucking Austin Powers. I don't know.
Brow, like brow, far Bissina.
Farbissina. Yeah. Farbissina.
I don't know what else I could. So anyway, Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion is what SPECTRE stands for.
Right. Yeah. Also, did you notice this interesting camera technique that they do here? It reminds me a lot of a Dutch angle, but it's when they show these evil people, it kind of moves back and forth weirdly like this, which I guess it's supposed to give you like an ominous feeling or something.
It made me think that they were on a boat. I'm like, are they on a boat? I think these people are on a boat.
Max von Sydow would finally play Blofeld in the unauthorized Sean Connery film Never Say Die Again, aka the Thunderball remake.
Never Say Never Again.
Never Say Never Again. Is that real? Why is it unauthorized? I have so many questions.
We got to get Just Dugan in here.
All that and more in a couple of years when we cover that movie. I think I remember hearing about that though. But they discuss the death of Dr. No, and then just a gratuitous massage scene is happening with Strong Guy, and then Klemp shows up via helicopter, and they show her the training grounds. Grant Nash is a stone man who seems like an anti-Bond type. That's me saying that. So now we're going to go over to Istanbul, and a blonde woman is being stalked.
She's important to the plot, but
Tatiana fucking Romakov, just Tatiana. She has a very German last name.
Yeah, Romanov.
Tatiana Romanovsky.
It's actually Romanova. It's like almost Romanov, but Romanova.
She shortened it so she could do films.
Yes. But she has to. She's being recruited by Klebb to assist in the plan, which is they trick her into making her think that she's working for Russia still, but really she's actually secretly working for SPECTRE and just doesn't know it.
Also, Colonel Klebb, gonna say it, might have the hots for Tatiana. She keeps touching her.
Okay. Could
I
be.
mean, I didn't get that vibe, but I'm glad you were able to find some fan fiction in this for yourself.
Yeah.
I wrote down the word Klebspian, so.
Ew. I thought it was more of a motherly thing, but
Okay.
I mean, that's also what I got.
yeah.
Well, she was asking intimate questions and she put her hand underneath.
I feel like maybe you've just been watching too much MILF porn, Jason.
That's when they said the name of the movie in the movie.
I thought you were going to hit the theory button. I thought it was the theory button for a second.
Listen. Am I turning red? We get a title drop at 18 minutes. When it goes over to James Bond after this scene, we hear the From Russia with Love song on the little radio as he's kissing up on this woman. And then he gets a call from his mobile cell phone, which apparently he has in 1963. Car phone in 1963. Is that a Bond technology, or were you able to have a rotary phone in a car 65 years ago? Tell us, people.
1946.
Oh.
They were around right after World War II.
I also
that was the full car service, which means that you could get it like domestically.
Oh, crazy.
As like a consumer.
I also referred to James Bond in my notes here as Old Harry, which he is a very hairy man. I don't know if you guys clocked that.
Ironically wearing a hairpiece in this movie.
Really? Say more about that.
Sean Connery is bald.
Really?
How bald are you talking?
Like full bald, like just the sides, like Picard level bald.
So even his hair ran away from him.
Yes, it ran down to his butt.
Down his arms.
Yeah, down his arms to it collected on his forearms.
Yeah. Is this woman that he's with the woman from the first movie who he's kind of having a liaison with and then gets called away, or is this a different woman? Do you know? Doesn't matter.
That's a different woman.
Okay.
She is, this is how they always start. Bond is always with a lady when you meet him, and then he has to leave the lady, and the lady's disappointed, and then he finds another lady like 20 minutes later, sometimes less, sometimes within the same scene.
It's the same thing that happens in every movie too, where they're like, "You have to be here in 1 hour," and he's like, "How about an hour and a half?"
Yeah,
like, fine.
Make that 2 hours.
Yeah.
And let's get another bottle of champagne. Yeah.
Yeah. So he decides to stay and fuck. But Bond finally makes it to the office. Also, do you know what I really don't like about this movie? James Bond's like one-liners are all so terrible. Like his little quips, his little like, well, I guess they didn't stay for a anyway.
He
walks into this office,
that's another thing that evolves as well. It becomes a little more punny as they go on. Like I liked a couple. There's one where he traps a guy's arms in the the hood of a car, and then he grabs him and just says, "Excuse me," and then punches him right in the face.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I like
That's
that
good.
one. Saying "excuse me" and then sucker punching somebody is funny to me.
But he when he walks into the office, he throws his hat on it, and they're all in awe, and he just like says some dumb quip.
No, they weren't in awe this time. This is the one time they weren't in awe, and he was like, "Oh, shit must be serious if nobody was impressed by my hat trick." Everybody loves my hat trick. That's the thing. They always like focused so hard on it in the first movie. Every time he went to that room, he threw everyone's like, very good. But this time they're like, "This is serious, Bond. Stop with the fucking hat already. We need to talk about Russia."
He's not even that flirty with Moneypenny either.
Yeah, and I will admit this is where the first moment where my brain fully shut down. I was like, "What is happening?"
You lasted way longer than me.
I mean, at least the other scenes had like a shirtless man getting punched by an old lady. I like that, or in the gut. Kept my attention.
I'm learning so much about your internet search choices today, both of you.
Yeah, shirtless men being punched in the gut.
And I guess
Got no porn and shirtless men being punched in the gut.
Both good choices.
pretty standard, pretty vanilla.
I created the subreddit for that one. Just kidding.
The mission, I guess, seduce or get seduced by Tatiana. We're also introduced to some new technology, a briefcase. I thought the briefcase was going to shoot the bullets. Nope. It's got a gun inside you have to put together. And also it just has like 2 rounds of bullets you pop out of it.
It's crazy because like the crate that they find on the boat at the end of the movie was more useful than this briefcase was. I mean, it had its moments throughout, but it like when you hype up a gadget like this, it's got to be a clutch item that he either uses the entire time or has one big moment where he uses it. And I mean, it had a big moment, but it was kind of, I didn't understand what it did.
Like, he used everything except for the gun in one go. Like he used the doubloons, he used the talcum powder explosion thing, and the knife all in the plate
all at once. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like an attaché case that has a bunch of gadgets in it, but the gadgets are just weapons. It's not like a laser or, like a tooth that you can spit out that explodes, like a TNT tooth. When are we going to see that in a James Bond movie?
Some sort of like a thing you put over your, like a boxing glove that explodes would be cool.
Yeah.
He gets into a boxing match and he's got loaded boxing gloves, and then they're like, "You're disqualified." Mm-hmm. We get another title drop at 24:25. He writes "From Russia with Love" on a picture of Tatiana. And then in an airport.
We got to fly around, and then he meets the guy, right?
Yeah.
Is this when he meets the guy?
He meets the driver, and he says the thing that I said in the intro, and then they're being stalked by the Bulgarians. Like, all this stuff is like window dressing for like.
Yeah, and it ultimately doesn't really
never
have
come back.
It ultimately has nothing to do with the actual plot of the movie. It's just there to have stuff happening, which is kind of disappointing because if you're going to build something like this, it feels important to have everything sort of threaded together in some interesting or collaborative way, or at least have these people be working with Spectre in some shadowy region. And if they were, I missed it. I didn't follow at all because to me, even the locals know about it. They get it. And it's like, yes, they're in Bulgaria now. They follow us. We follow them. It's just how shit works here. And James Bond's like, oh, it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship, I guess.
Yeah.
And then,
so when Bond goes to meet Karam, I missed his name, so I refer to him in my notes as the mayor the whole time for some reason. I was like, I don't know, he runs something, he's the mayor. But his name's Karam Bey, and this is kind of his like his buddy in this one that he goes into some capers with. And I kind of like their little thing that they have. Also, he alludes to the fact that he used to be a circus strongman, which I thought was interesting. And then we get I don't remember this happening in like the later movies that we watch because we're back a ways now. We've watched up to the 80s with a couple of them with Timothy Dalton. But does every James Bond movie just have a scene where he walks into a hotel room and for like 7 straight minutes he's just like looking at stuff? Because that definitely happens right now.
I think that's another thing they abandoned after a while because they're like, this is just boring. Like, Bond doesn't need to look around for devices. He should just always assume he's being surveilled at all times, and like, you know, it's boring. Like having somebody look around a fucking motel room for bugs is just like, oh my god. They did it in the Roger Moore one as well. Remember? And he's like, he finds like 20 of them. It's like, okay, we get it. The room's bugged. But then it gets to a point where it's funny. Like the amount of them that he's found becomes comical because there's so many. It felt like a Golden or an Austin Powers gag after a while.
Yeah. It should have been 14 straight minutes of it just to really hit it home. B, when you go to a different city for like a cosplay, for a Comic-Con or a cosplay event, when you go into your hotel room, do you check behind every painting for a bug?
I actually have, because they've found cameras in hotels, there are specific places like the bathrooms and whatnot that I check for cameras. And then I just make sure the doors lock. And if they don't, I wait by the door with an ironing board, which happened last September.
Holy shit.
I was filming a movie in Niagara Falls, and they put me up for the night in this hotel. And I swear to God, it was a murder hotel. I get in there, the balcony door is open. Like what? And the front door is open. Like it wasn't locked. Then I go to like check everything, and I check under the bed, as you usually do. And then the balcony door doesn't lock, and like the balconies were close enough together that somebody could get there from another balcony. So, and then later that night around 12 a.m., somebody just started pounding on my door and wouldn't go away. And then I called the front desk, and they're like, yes, we know about that. We've dealt with it. I'm like, okay, what was it? And they're like, don't worry about it. We've dealt with it. So I literally like Home Aloned a glass of water on top of the door and then sat by my bed with an ironing board all night.
Oh my God.
So that was my own little James Bond moment, but I didn't get to attack anyone with an ironing board. So it was about as boring as the movie we're talking about here. See?
Yeah, it's all I knew that you'd have an anecdote for something like that. I love the fact that just Duggan brought up the hair trick, because I love the hair trick. That's what you should start doing, is take a piece of your hair, lick it, and then put them all around your room so you can see if people have come in and messed with your personal effects. But the water on top of the door trick, I think that would have gone a long way.
Yeah. I would have had the iron plugged in and just wielded it.
Just sitting there like, yeah.
That's
well,
crazy.
see, you can just swing with an ironing board, and there's a lot of reach with that.
That's true. Yeah, you got to get close.
And then I could get out through my unlocked balcony.
That's true.
Yeah. Good weapon. Good escape plan. Listen, guys, James finds a dead guy in a car, so that happens.
Yes.
And then we get that weird scene where Karam and his, I guess, girlfriend, she's just mad that he won't take her to bed. He's trying to solve the world's issues. And then there's an explosion, and the explosion looked like it was from the 60s Batman show. I don't know if it was purple just to like emphasize a different color than just like gray smoke, or if they used some sort of gas. I don't know. Did you guys notice that it was purple even?
I did not.
I think I had tuned out at that point.
I just thought it was an explosion.
I'm like, how long into the movie is this? I'm still like, yeah, this is gonna get good. I'm not even like disillusioned by it yet.
Weirdly enough, my favorite shit was the train.
Gaslight yourself into hoping to like this far. I'm impressed.
Sometimes you have to. Some of the movies that we cover do get there, and you're like, okay, I see what I was waiting for. This one never really gets there. However, I think that the line, as he's about to make love to his beautiful wife or girlfriend, he says, "Back to the salt mines." And I was like, what an insane thing to say.
Yeah. It is funny that he hires all his sons, though.
Yeah.
and they all also were in the circus. I think is like
Yeah.
the implication, because doesn't he say like one of them used to like bite chains in half with his teeth or something weird?
Oh, I thought he was referring to himself, but is he talking about his sons when he
Oh,
talks
maybe
about that?
I don't know. I thought he was
Yeah.
like implying that his son used to do that before he hired him, and he's like, I hired all my sons.
My weirdo fucking Russian Istanbul Turkish sons. But it turns out that it seems Russia has attacked due to Bond being there. Maybe that's what Bond speculates.
Mhm.
So they naturally investigate the sewers, and
They have to
they
go to
seem
the
to-
sewer level. That's where the
Yeah.
keys are. You find a key in the sewer, and then you go unlock
they
something.
got a little boat down there, which I thought was kind of cute. They go through the sewers. I like how they come up on the other side, and they just have like a porthole that's spying into the like Russians that are in town. I think the consulate. But what I'm wondering is like, does this porthole just like come up out of the floor subtly, like over in the corner of the room? I could not figure out how this was working.
I don't know, man. I usually have the answer for you in these situations, but I don't. I don't have the answer this time, man.
I like to imagine that it's just over in the corner. This thing just kind of goes.
Well, then that's what it does. There you go.
There we go. This part of the movie clearly inspired the video game remake. Also, like, what was that? Was that the one that was like James Bond Double Agent, where he's like a bad guy in it? What? Or is there a From Russia with
literally
Love
a
game?
there's a From Russia with Love game. I have played it. I don't remember a ton of it, but I think what they maybe the purpose of that game is like, let's take the most boring James Bond movie and just make it action packed and fun. It was the only one they would give them.
Oh, it's a GameCube game.
Yes,
That's why I don't remember it.
because you didn't have a GameCube.
No, I did have a GameCube. I just didn't really. I thought James Bond was boring.
Oh,
Yeah, B's like, yep. Yes.
I mean, you're talking to the right person. I think the only game that I had for GameCube was Donkey Konga.
That's a great game. I remember playing like I skipped Wind Waker, but I did play like Twilight Princess, and Mirror Sunshine.
mm-hmm.
I was trying to have girlfriends at that time, so I wasn't really into video games during that era.
You're so fucking cool.
Said trying. I said trying. Just going to parties and blacking out.
Oh,
Really, that's the
No.
reality of it.
Yeah, I was still quite young. I was scared of everything, so I would stay at home and play Wind Waker. Be like, bum, bum, tick, tick, bum, 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 bing, bing. Conducting the wind with my baton.
It's a very difficult thing to do. I've been trying to play it on the Switch, and it's hard. But yeah, they have the spy gear set up. They do a little spying. How does it look to you? Well, from this angle, things are shaping up nicely. I'd like to see her in the flesh. That's when Tatiana walks into the room, and he goes, yes. And I wrote, Jesus Christ, HAHAHA. I wrote that down in notes to myself. So Bond and Karam, they roll up to a party, and that party is a party of Romas. Spoiler alert, this is my Home Alone of it all, because this sequence is insanity. This sequence is the most James Bond shit. I want to see what this part looks like in the video game, in fact.
I
But,
guarantee you it's not in the video game.
No. The Russians are sort of spying on this party, and it's revealed that like Karam knows these people. You got to be chill. We got to get the information out of them. But it turns out that two of the women in the town are blood feuding over the son of like the leader, or the son of the also mayor.
Yeah, and then they have to like fight to the death or something.
Yeah. And I think this is why they have the belly dancing intro, because we get a full 5-minute belly dancing sequence here, which also was kind of like,
Well, yeah,
who's this movie for?
it's for horny men.
Men? Yeah.
Horny old men. Yeah, it's like it's a very, and then after that, it's like an even longer, weird belly fight scene. Where the belly dancing women are now fist fighting each other.
Yeah. And Karam says to Bond, no matter what happens, say and do nothing. And Bond is like, well, good, because I have a boner. He's clearly just so, like, they're sitting around this table just like watching like creeps. It's very bizarre. And right as one of the women is about to kill the other one with a fucking glass bottle, the Russians attack. And then we get a huge action sequence, which, I don't know, there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's good. It's well, like, I like a good fight choreo. There's lots of explosions going off. There's lots of good action. We're introduced to that one character who's got like slicked back, like longer blonde hair, who becomes a sort of character here in a minute.
Yeah, and it feels very old Hollywood, this whole sequence. Yeah. Like they're in like a weird kind of easy to get ruined castle, I guess. I don't know where it is, but it doesn't feel like it's on a back lot. It feels like it's an actual location. But, everything's on fire, and dude is just watching the battle from a distance, and James Bond is just shooting so many people. he's shooting the attacking Roma, and he's also shooting the Russians. But a lot of people have guns. This is like a rival community, I guess. I didn't really track why these people attacked. I guess maybe they were hired by the Russians.
They were attacking in conjunction with the Russians because they were after Karam.
Right.
And then they light the place on fire and retreat before any casualties from their team. But no, I don't know why I wrote that, because you're right. There were dead bodies everywhere after the fight was over.
There's so many people that die.
Yeah.
James Bond himself shoots like 12 people. I just brought it up right now because I'm like, I don't remember what happened. So kind of watching it in the background with the sound.
And then another bizarre thing happens where Bond asks, they're like, we're forever in your debt, James Bond. Please tell us anything you need. And he's like, how about those women don't kill each other? So Bond's a nice guy for exactly 10 seconds before the leader of the town is like, well, you can have both of them. And you decide who gets the other guy or something. And it's heavily implied that he had a three-way that night.
He's James Bond. He has a three-way every night. The only times we see him making love are when he's decided to take one lover because they weren't allowed to show three ways in the 60s on screen.
Yeah. Oh, and the hits don't stop, because the next scene is them back in Istanbul, like waiting for the guy to come out, and they have the sniper rifle set up, and there's the picture of the actress on the wall, like the movie poster. And they're like, she has a lovely mouth.
What a weird thing to say.
What a strange thing to say. But that was just because when the guy leaves, he comes out through the mouth, I think. But still, weird way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've been intermittently grimacing through this entire plot synopsis.
Yeah, it's going to continue. We're going through. We're getting through, everybody. This is we're on track to not do 5-hour show. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Then he leaves.
Yep.
With dude, it honestly is like almost an entirely pointless scene.
Yeah, he comes out the mouth and they shoot him, and then Bond's dumb quip here is, "She should have kept her mouth shut," which is also like, James.
Yeah, he probably says that a lot. Sean Connery and James Bond.
I wrote "holy shit" after that. So okay, back.
I have almost no memory of anything beyond this point until they're on the Oriental Express or the Orient Express.
Well, we're almost there. Back at the hotel, Tatiana has snuck in, and they kind of they kind of seduce each other moment. Bond tries to get information and form a plan, but she just wants to get right to it. Sex, I mean. And then a weird thing happens where it's revealed that it's a two-way mirror behind the bed. So guys just watched them all night, I think. Like the spies on the other side of the wall were just like, well,
they film it.
Yeah.
They film it as evidence later, as like blackmail, and they're gonna
Evidence.
they're gonna use it against the British government to be like, look, one of their top spies has been fucking around with Russian spies, and it's gonna be bad for business. That's why he throws it in the ocean at the end.
Oh, okay. I didn't clock what that was at the end. I was going to ask.
See, I track the important things.
Yeah.
The things that matter.
He threw away the fucking porno tape that would have.
Yeah. He's like, I don't like the angle. My ass looks too big. Is my ass look big in this video?
They would have leaked that, and he would have become an international star on the internet, like so many people have done over the last 20 years.
James Bond number 97, Flesh Mechanic.
Ugh.
What? Flesh Mechanic. That's the best thing I've ever heard. I'm gonna write that down because that's got to be a T-shirt. I think.
Flesh Mechanic.
Yeah.
That's the name of an actual OnlyFans person.
Is it?
Really?
Can't make it into a shirt then.
Is he friends with Girth Master? I assume Flesh Mechanic is a man. Could be a woman.
It's a man. He has a mustache.
And a tool for working on his car. He's a mechanic.
Yeah, he's a mechanic. He is a wrench.
A socket wrench.
Right. So they meet at the spot that they discuss. There's this guy with glasses who's introduced early in the movie. And then, like, he's here at this point in the movie, and I think he's introduced again later. That they never really. He's just kind of around. I don't know if he's really important. Maybe he's a character from Goldmember. I might have overthought it.
Goldmember?
It's Goldmember himself. Goldfinger.
Goldfinger himself.
Goldfinger with his member. Nope.
Oh,
anyway, they play a bit of cat and mouse. The girl puts down the map in a container. Strongman shows up.
I'm still giggling at Goldfinger himself. I'm just thinking about it. That was my nickname in high school.
Heyo. I was waiting for that. Yeah, but there's this whole thing with the fucking map in the container that she just like leaves, and then Strongman's there. I don't know. This whole scene was kind of confusing, and it's the plans for the Russian consulate and where everything is, because they have blueprints for that building. But since Tatiana works there, she's like the decoder. She can work the Thekler. She's written down what all the rooms are so they can break in soon. Why are you laughing?
I thought of another good James Bond girl name. Decoder Fanny.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Hi, Caitlin. Welcome in.
Welcome to the jungle. We're here talking about Russia, from Russia, with love, and all three of us are struggling to remember what happened. We all watched it this week.
I have the movie on. I have extensive notes, and I'm still like, what the fuck is going on in this movie?
I can't wait till Goldeneye. I know that movie like the back of my ass.
Yeah, I owned it on VHS and watched it 1,000 times. This movie I saw on TBS as a kid and probably was like, I'm going to go outside and play with my toys.
What are they doing in the church again? I can't remember what they're doing in the church. I remember there's a big long church sequence.
Is this the church?
For the sin of making this movie.
Oh,
yeah,
right. That's probably what they're doing. Yeah,
I thought that I thought this wasn't a church, but it was more of a like bus, like a train station or something.
Oh, it looks like a church.
Do you have it up right now?
No, I just wanted to look at that Roma camp scene again. But the blonde dude is basically keeping Bond alive because he's part of the plan, right? He needs him to get the stuff so that he can take the stuff. So they're sort of using Bond as a way to get their plan to a certain point, and then they can eliminate Bond and take all the stuff that he's taken for themselves. Mm-hmm. So I don't really like that because it's showing it, and it's showing the guy protecting him constantly, right? So you're like, why is he? Oh, okay, he needs Bond alive. I get it. I understand that. But the chess master guy doesn't really. They don't really like lay out the plan for us in like detail. They sort of hint at the fact that he's got a very extensive plan, but you don't get like a full breakdown. And it's
wait,
Bond.
is Glasses guy the chess master guy?
No, the chess master guy you only see at the beginning and the end, I think, and maybe like
Right.
one scene in the middle. You see him be like, I've come up with the perfect plan and will never fail ever. And then who I'm like, this guy has the most Russian face I've ever seen. Like he looks like Vladimir Putin.
I wrote that in my notes. In fact, I was like, why is Vladimir Putin in this movie?
He's got a Putin punum, as they say.
Yep, they do say that.
They say that in Russia, and then you don't see him again until the end until he gets shin stabbed with a poison boot blade.
That's what they called me in high school.
That's a good string of words I just
It
did
was
there. Shin stabbed with a poison boot blade. And yeah, it's just a lot of globetrotty stuff, but it's not exciting. It's just Bond sort of sauntering around for a while until he gets to the train. And then the train
Looking
shows
around
up and I'm like,
corners.
trains. I like trains.
I like trains. We're just about to get to that point. They make it to a boat. They discuss the Lektor. They take the device back to the Brits. He interviews her on the boat about the Lektor, like the decoder, and she keeps
can't
being
stop
like,
talking about wanting to
yeah.
fuck the whole time. It's so weird. It's so uncomfortably weird.
But this is like a bit of good comedy because like there's 7 people sitting around listening to this, and he keeps having to be like, "Can we just keep to the subject?"
No.
And then
But I
at
just
the
want
end,
to see what your penis looks like again.
yeah, just take it out for me, please.
There's
But
other
then at the-
people here on this boat. I don't care about the other people. They can see it too.
They will like it as well. But at the very end of it, it goes over to Moneypenny, who's like taking the notes for it, and then James Bond turns to like the microphone and says, "Moneypenny, since you're obviously listening to this, leave those parts out," which I thought was like a good little bit of comedy. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I mean,
like, oh, this is okay.
Sort of the forever joke, I guess, until recently, is that like Moneypenny is like pretty much like in love with James Bond, and James Bond is kind of in love with Moneypenny, but it's like they know that it's not wise for them to get together, so they never really do. But she's also like, she's still, it's not that she's jealous or that she's envious, it's more like she's just kind of like, I wish I could be with James, and I know that he likes me and would want to be with me, but it just, he's a field agent and I'm not. I'm like a super spy from behind the desk, which I kind of like that dynamic, but they milk it for comedy all the time, but sometimes it feels a little bit rude. And I guess it doesn't feel rude in this movie to me all that much, but like there's a few of the Brosnan ones where they really make Moneypenny out to be this like really horny, like she just wants to fuck the shit out of James Bond, and he's like, not today, Moneypenny, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, the 80s, the Timothy Dalton one where they're in the 80s and she's very 80s, felt like that too, where she's just like throwing herself at him. These older ones feel like my little theory about how it's like unrequited love, or not unrequited love, but a forbidden romance. Like they work together, they have to have all this information, they can't really be together, but it does definitely, their dynamic changes throughout the films. It's like innocent here. He just goes over and he like brushes her hair out of his face, and they give each other a little peck, and they have a little flirtation. I think it's okay here, as long as he doesn't punch her in the head, which he wants to.
Yeah.
Right. So when we get to the Russian consulate, we get the little moment where he's like, "Is that clock right?" He's like, "Yeah, the Russian clock's always right." And then he goes back and he goes, "So you said the clock's right?" He's like, "Russian clock is always." We got a huge explosion, and they they use those plans to sort of cause a distraction / break in. I like that James Bond just made a beeline for the Thekler, for the decoder. Like he just went for it while everybody's freaking out around him. I thought that this scene, I like chaos in movies. I thought this was a good little moment of chaos. And then there's that weird scene where he's escaping with Tatiana and they go down a tunnel, and there's just so many rats for some reason.
Rats are scary, and also that's why James Bond or that's why Indiana Jones' dad is scared of rats.
Right. Oh,
He's played by Sean Connery.
Right. That's a good little.
I don't
if
know
that
if
was
that's
intended.
why, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny that it's a thing. But I did notice that as well. I was like, oh yeah.
It's so many rats, though. It's like 1,000 mice just.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when an explosion happens. The
True.
rats run to one spot.
That's a good point. Oh, these originals also feature Canadian Lois Maxwell in the role of Moneypenny. That's a good little tidbit. Also, you're right, Just Duggan. I don't know how we're getting this much content out of it. Everybody seems kind of checked out.
I mean, it's more that I honestly, nothing was really connecting with me in terms of like stuff that I wanted to talk about until much later in the movie. So we're just kind of making our way through the plot until I will then probably engage a little bit more.
Well,
Trains.
We are at the train. Bond gets Tatiana some clothes, which I thought was a little bit. B, what happens when you go on a date with a guy and he shows up with a cupboard full of clothes for you? Are you into it, or is it kind of like, bro?
Depends on the clothes. If a guy really wants to woo me, he'll just give me money and leave me alone. That's my kink.
Yeah.
I also
Getting
didn't really
money.
think this is him trying to pick out a wardrobe for her so much as that he was like, we both only have one set of clothes, so I need clothes. Bring me clothes as well. And then this other guy probably brought them clothes.
I know, but he does say like, we'll continue the fashion show later.
Generally, men have terrible taste in clothing, so.
How did you feel about these baby blue nighties that are the clothes that he's gotten for her?
I mean, I feel like Kate Moss wore something like that with a pair of boots in the 90s as like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Party wear. It's not awful. It's not what I would have picked, but it's exactly what I would have expected fucking James Bond to pick.
I don't think it was James Bond. I think it was Mustache Man that picked out the clothes.
Oh, yeah, that is exactly what a man with a mustache would pick out.
James, I found you a wardrobe for your beautiful woman.
I brought her 12 babushkas as well, just in case.
Yes.
You know what? At least it's not like a fucking schoolgirl skirt from Shein.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
I like what Tim has to say here about making a drinking game out of Karam saying my friend, because he does say my friend so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes, my friend. I actually feel bad about spoilers. Karam dies in the next 10 minutes of the movie because they go to have a drink and they just bust in on a guy and start to rob him because he's, I think he's an informant or something. And
he's a Russian agent.
He's an agent. But this movie does this weird thing where every time they it happens here, it happens with Nash, and then it happens once Bond takes Nash or Grant takes him out. They have this thing where they take money off each other, and I thought that was a really funny little thing. Like, give me your money also, in addition to your intel.
I think it was more because they were worried that he had a weapon, so he's just taking everything out of his pockets. So
yeah,
they know there's nothing else in there.
But also, Grant is very much like an agent for hire, as we find out too. He'll just kind of go to the highest bidder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think
found it using my periscope.
I think the entire train sequence is more interesting than anything else in the movie. One, for the setting, I like a train setting because there's a sense of isolation, and the motion of the train makes there sort of a constant threat of danger. You can fall off and be killed or injured. But then also everything is tight quarters. You know, the cabins that they're in are small, the hallways are small, and the fact that there's so many other people on the train as well, while there's this sort of sense of inherent danger that they're sort of mildly aware of, and we're absolutely aware of as the story starts to progress a little bit further. And they realize that there's a Russian spy on the train, so they capture him, tie him up, and then they keep mustache man sits there and he's like, what does he say? He's like, I have had a very interesting life. Would you like to hear about it? And the guy goes, He's like, you do?
Oh yeah, because he's tied up.
Yeah, he's gagged.
He's gagged. I also had a moment where there's like a I can't remember if the movie GoldenEye has like a long train scene, but there's definitely a train level in the GoldenEye video game. So when they were on the train, it evoked memories of that, and I was thinking of the like bow bow tsh, bow 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 like theme music from the GoldenEye games, you know. And I kind of want to play the fucking From Russia with Love video game. I wonder how hard it would be to emulate.
I know I've played it. I don't really remember it though. I think I was disappointed. I think everything after GoldenEye, like I had such a high expectation for it, and no James Bond game after that ever met that expectation. So I was just kind of like, I think maybe I don't like James Bond. I just like GoldenEye. I think that's the thing. But I do like James Bond.
The cast of GoldenEye is so like of the era. They would all go on to be such huge stars and different stuff through our whole lives after too. It's like, it's so of the time, and I really am looking forward to talking about that. B, we owe you a movie. Your 5 Times Club is for like the worst James Bond. I wouldn't say the worst. It's a well-made film. It's fine. It's just a boring fucking slog.
I made you guys watch Cool as Ice, so this is my retribution.
This is the trade-off. I think Cool as Ice is a more fun movie.
It's more engaging for sure. I didn't lose interest in this weird shit that was going on.
Although eventually, I'm going to force you guys to watch Tammy and the T-Rex.
I want to watch Tammy and the... Yeah, I've seen most of that movie. It's fucking awesome.
You can watch the whole movie in High on Life.
In High on Life, yeah.
It plays on the TV in the living room. You can just sit there.
That's how I watched it, actually.
But if you leave the house and come back, it restarts. So they have sex again. They're like, well, we have to go do stuff. It's almost 4:00. And then she's like, I don't want to. And then he's like, all right, maybe we can just fuck around for a bit. And then flash forward, and he's like, it's almost 6 p.m. We have to go get tea. It's tea time. And
what are you talking about? Tea? What are you?
She's like, well, they can bring it here. And he's like, no. We have to go have it with the people. That's how it works. But yeah, I mean, it's always implied boning in these movies, and it's always so weird, awkward, and uncomfortable. But you know,
yeah, I don't know how they can make sex so unsexy, but like, and like, I get that Sean Connery is objectively kind of a shit, but he is an attractive person. But somehow, every time he kisses somebody, I just get the ick.
Yeah, I feel like it would be like kissing like a really used baseball. like that would be the texture you'd be getting.
Yeah, you can like in the image behind you.
A well beaten in baseball.
Like a baseball glove. You can see like those dimples are rough, buddy. I do like the chemistry once we see Grant and Bond talking. They do have a good chemistry together. Also, it's very sad when they go back to find Karam. He and the guy that they tied up have killed each other, seemingly. Yeah, give Grandpa Baseball a smooch.
But yeah,
I'm gonna write down Grandpa Baseball.
They said that they killed each other, and it's like, are you stupid? Obviously, they didn't kill each other. That would be insane. But that's what everybody on the fucking blonde guy killed.
Oh yes, good call. Good call. To that very moment,
as soon as they walk away to leave the guy in the room, you see that guy walk in down the hallway with fucking rubber gloves on, like or leather gloves on. It's like he's gonna go kill them. They
did a really interesting thing too. They subverted my expectations, at least, where Bond makes a huge show out of I'm gonna knock 3 times to come back in, and they show Grant go down the hallway, and you hear 3 knocks on the door, and you're like, oh well, he's gonna go in there and at least talk to Tatiana about the mission or kill her at worst. But then Bond just walks in. I liked that. It was a good little edit.
I like all the train shots.
I like it when they show from outside the train and then from inside the train as well.
Yep. I'm like, look at that steam engine. But they show a lot of the train, and it's like, that's not a passenger car. Like, those aren't passenger cars. Those are like cargo train cars. But they also keep cutting to dude's son or whatever. He's like tracking the train, right? Following throughout. And then they break at one point on the train and get off, and he gives them more information, I guess. He's like, I can't remember what the fuck they talk about, but he's like,
well, before
sorry,
that
died.
He gets the information, like him and Grant hold on a second here. So he finds them dead. Oh, then he goes back and fucking knocks. Oh God, he just punched her in the head again. He knocks Tatiana around and asks about her involvement with the situation, and she says she can't tell him anything, even if he kills her, and also she loves him. So,
She says it like 1,000 times.
Yeah,
and
I love you.
The thing is, like, James Bond does not give a fuck, which is like the kind of like the gross part about James Bond in this movie in particular, is that this woman is like very clearly actually in love with him, and because there's nothing to suggest that she's trying to woo him. She has this sort of like, it's kind of gross because it's like, it's almost sort of like this juvenile attitude that is, it's unappealing to me. It makes me feel really uncomfortable, and like this man is just like having sex with this woman constantly, and she thinks that after this mission is done that they're going to go get married and have a family together. And it's like, if you could have a version of this where it's clear that she is also trying to play him, but like, they do it better in the more sort of evolved versions of James Bond movies, where women aren't basically treated like plot points or props for the movie. But even the first movie, the character, I can't remember what the character's name was, but she at least had agency, and she was interesting, and she had a physicality to her that was like cool. And like when they meet her, she's just like collecting shells on an island that everybody is forbidden to go to, but somehow she's like, I just sneak in all the time. Look, I got a big fucking sack of seashells, and like she's kind of cool. Whereas this woman is just sort of like, she seems helpless almost the entire time, and it's like disappointing, I'm like, this isn't a character. This is basically just like a cardboard cutout that he's walking around with the whole time. You stay here. Like, oh, she fell asleep. Let's have a fight over her unconscious body. And you're like,
it's a fleshlight with a bad Russian accent.
Yeah, it's not good. It's kind of annoying. Like it makes me dislike the movie even more, because like he has nothing to play off of. She is clearly like a competent actor, but like she's not really given anything to do except sit there and mumble dialogue. And you're like, okay, well, now we have to move to this area, and now there's going to be an uncomfortable sequence where he's asking you very specific questions about the device you're looking for, and you're going to pepper in just weird horny talk the whole time for the audience to giggle at. And it's not funny, it's just weird. That's my opinion. Obviously, if you think it's funny, then fine, but I don't. I think that like the comedy of this movie, almost the entire interaction between blonde hair and Bond is more funny to me than anything else that's going on in the movie. Like it's just like so,
because she's like fawning over him and hanging off him, and he's kind of like, I guess so.
But yeah,
especially like they have a cool like little meeting moment where they sort of, like I said, they seduce each other, but then after he, I guess, gets what he wants, now it's that weird thing where she is just following him around like a lost puppy, forgets her mission completely, so she has no agency anymore, and she is just a sorry, B, how did you say it? A fleshlight with a Russian accent?
A fleshlight with a bad Russian accent.
A bad Russian accent. Sorry, I didn't mean to mess up your quote. That's very real. Just as an aside, Tim makes a good point too. I had this in my notes as well. Karam was terminally ill in real life when he made this film, and the production was scheduled around when he could physically perform, but eventually the director had to double for him to finish the final shots. Pedro Armendáriz, who portrayed Ali Karim-Bey, was battling cancer during production. Director Terence Young scheduled his scenes early back in London at Pinewood to accommodate his health. The actor tragically took his own life soon after the film ended. Holy shit.
Well, that happens a lot when people have terminal illnesses.
Or when they're in movies this bad.
Holy shit. B, you can't say that.
I'm going to clip that and use it for years.
I can. Look, it wouldn't be a Sean Connery film if one of us didn't get canceled. I'll bite the bullet.
You just punched a woman right in the head.
Jesus.
With that quote.
I mean, it could be the reason, though. Maybe you're right.
This movie fucking sucks and I have cancer.
I can't believe
Jesus. I am out of here.
Yeah.
The scene that you started to reference is the next scene. They stop at a stop. They do the code phrase, "Can I borrow a match? I use a lighter. Better still."
I like that
they
part.
go wrong. Yeah. He meets his informant, who's the son of the
movies where people have to do code words and stuff.
Yeah. But this, unfortunately, is him telling his son that his dad has passed. And I wrote, he's been through so much at this point in the film, but at the same time, this movie feels like it's just sort of starting to get going. Did you guys have this? Did you notice that there's like a half hour left in this movie, and it kind of just started picking up a little bit?
That's okay. So when I say like I didn't start paying attention to the train shit, it's not just because my brain was like, "Ooh, trains," even though that is a thing that happened. I also was like, everything that's happening on the train is more interesting than literally everything else that has happened.
This movie's 2 hours long. Also, I just want to preface what you're saying with that.
But also, half the movie almost is the train. Like they're on the train for almost the majority of the movie. Up until this point, it's like location, and within each location, something vaguely the shadow of something interesting happens, but nothing actually that interesting happens until you get to the train. And then there's all this sort of intrigue, and there's all these weird characters that are interacting with each other. And I like it. I like all this shit way more than anything else that happened. And I struggled so hard to like remember it so much. I forgot about the entire Roma camp. I forgot until you mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that whole thing happened.
Oh yeah, the like interesting part of like the first 2 acts. Did you have that sort of same thing where it sort of started to pick up for you here? Because
I was so tuned out by this point.
Yeah,
you just no redeeming it.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
that's fair.
The kind of stuff that I like.
I think when it got to this point, I was busy looking up recipes for sourdough discard.
This is the kind of stuff
like,
that
I could make cookies or cinnamon rolls.
Right. This is the kind of stuff that I enjoy, though. Right? Is like there's a villain on the train. He knows who they are. They don't know who he is. He's watching them do stuff. They're doing things that they think are secretive, and then eventually they meet. And then, Bond starts to slowly piece together that like this guy isn't who he says he is, but I'm gonna trust him for now. But I should probably keep on my toes. Like remember when he sends the guy to go have dinner with the woman, and then he like goes through his briefcase and stuff to try and figure out like who is this guy actually. He doesn't really, but he knows to not trust him. But he's pretending to be. I think he's pretending to be the guy who died at the beginning. I could be wrong, but he's being an agent who I think is dead at this point. He's like assumed his identity, which I like. I like that too. I like the dinner scene. I like when he like fake knocks over the glass of champagne and then puts a little pill in it or whatever. And I like that James Bond saw and noticed and didn't say anything. He's like, well, this could kill her, but I don't give a shit. We'll see what happens. He lets her drink it.
That's the next part. Like, Captain Nash shows up. Grant Nash. They discuss getting the decoder.
I think it's Pluto Nash. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Okay.
Pluto Nash and James Bond discuss getting the decoder through the border, and they go to dinner. Bond is well prepared. Like he goes through his like briefcase and he pulls his gun out. And I thought that James Bond like had an inkling this guy might have known something, but this character seems to be able to get Bond's defenses down in this really unique way that you don't see obviously before this, but you don't really see James Bond be so like in the weeds like when he encounters this guy. So during the dinner, he does do the thing that you just said. He drugs her. Tatiana's knocked out.
He
Bond
does sort of
knows
like a smooth move, but at the same time, because it's a movie, they have to make it very obvious to us what's going on, right? So like he knocks the wine glass over. There's a close up of him knocking it over. He re-pours her another glass of sparkling wine, and he like flicks a little pill in it. It's a little tiny pill, and it starts to dissolve instantly, and you can see it all. But they also do kind of this nice shot of over the guy's shoulder to Bond, who's just staring at the glass like eating. And then he like looks at the guy directly in the face, and then he goes like, okay, nothing happened. But it's very clear to us that James Bond saw what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's an old
like,
movie
what's
thing,
going
but
through?
I like that kind of shit.
What's going through James Bond's head about all of this? All I could think was like, and I don't know if they reference it or not, but once they're in the room together, he's like, "Oh, you knocked her out. What did you use?" And I think that he maybe thinks that he knocked her out so they could talk freely about the mission, but it's never. I don't know if it's written.
I mean, he pulls a gun on him.
Well, what happens is they're talking.
No,
and
he immediately pulls a gun out of on him. Like he closes the door and then he says, "What did you put in the glass?" And then he turns around and he's holding a gun. And the guy's like, "All right, I put some drug in there. She's not gonna die. It's just gonna knock her out for a while." And then he starts to be like, "Okay, I'll tell you what's going on. Look on this map." And then he leans down to look at the map. And then James Bond, I think, he pulls a gun out of like an ankle holster and like knocks him out in the back of the head or whatever. So he trusts him for like a split second, but he immediately doesn't trust him.
Oh,
like, I'll get close, and then See, I'm paying attention at this point.
I forgot he pulled the gun on him.
What's going on here? Are they gonna kill each other on this train or what?
I thought that they were having kind of like a bro moment here, in like they were working together. But yeah, you're right. James Bond is immediately like, "What the fuck?" But he does get his guard down a little bit, enough to pull the gun on him. And this is the thing I'm saying about Bond not really being having his guard down and being put in this position, because when he gets the gun out, he hits him with it, and then he has the gun to his head and he starts pulling like his money and his gun out of his pockets and stuff. And it was really weird to see James Bond so
vulnerable.
Yeah.
James Bond's vulnerable. Oh no.
But immediately my
cigarettes.
My own brain was like, Jason, James Bond is in a situation where a laser beam is slowly coming up to his groin in like the rest of the James Bond
in the next
movies.
movie.
Yeah. So it's almost like he wants to be put in this vulnerable situation. So the boss, which he does here, will just explain his devious plot to him in James Bond villain fashion.
I think that James Bond had a moment of
Yeah.
fucked up. It happens all the time. James Bond fucks up all the time
constantly.
in every movie. James Bond, like I said before, the reason that James Bond defeated the Russian chess master is because the Russian chess master did not anticipate James Bond, a man who thinks 0 moves ahead. He's always just going by the seat of his pants. He's able to position Bond a bunch of moves into the game, but then as soon as it gets close to that point where it really matters, Bond starts to do unanticipable? That's not a word. He's not able to anticipate. He's not able to anticipate anything that he does after that, because he's just doing things in order to survive. And I think that that's funny, because that's just what James Bond is. He's sort of like this blunt tool who can be a scalpel, but you don't know if you're going to get the sledgehammer or the scalpel. It depends on the situation that he's in, and it depends on his sort of his mental stability at the time. As the movies go on, it shows that he can be completely unhinged. He'll be tortured for months and then come out and just be a wild animal, or he'll be have a broken back and he'll still try and fuck you up when his bones are all broken.
I like how Bond figured he wasn't a British agent because he ordered red wine with fish. That's real.
Yeah.
It would be better if he ordered chocolate milk.
I mean, I agree. I don't think I could not eat fish and red wine. Those two things, it seems like like everything would just be stuck together in your mouth. It would almost be like glue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about fish and milk though?
I mean, it would be that's the equivalent almost. Like it has that sort of coagulation effect to your spittle. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
We're not here to talk about spittle, my nickname in high school.
So he doesn't even work for the Russians. He's like a Spectre agent who infiltrated the Russians, and it turns out Spectre is like the whole point of Spectre in this mission is to have the British and the Russians just fighting each other while Spectre just goes and infiltrates, which I think is actually awesome. I think I never knew about Spectre my whole life. And
until the
watching
movie
all these, I haven't seen Spectre, but I'm just saying, like, going back and watching the old ones and Spectre pops up every now and then is this like shadow force, I think is really cool. And I'm glad that I know that about the James Bond lore now.
Analogy at the beginning was meant to be representative of, right? The I almost called them kung fu fighting fish.
The fighting fish.
What are they called again?
Japanese fighting fish.
Okay.
Beta.
Fighting fish, yeah.
Beta fish, yeah. He just made it weirdly racist for some reason.
I don't know why. Because I thought of the song Kung Fu Fighting. And I was like, is that what they're called? I'm like, no, they don't. They just bite each other to death.
Yeah. It looks like they sucked each other to death too.
Oh my
weird.
God.
Fighting fish.
Now that's the way to go, am I right?
Hey, that's what they called me in high school.
No, that didn't work, Jason. You can't say it for everything.
I will.
I will, and I can, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Right. But it's revealed that Bond and Tatiana are both expendable because of the way the mission is gone. And they wanted this to happen. And Clamp is also Spectre.
Expendable, but they planned to kill them. It's like, well, I have to kill you now. Like, you did everything perfectly to plan according to the chess man's plan. And now I have to kill you.
Yeah.
But then Bond tricks him once more, which I liked, because it's like this whole scene is just them tricking each other over and over again. It's really long, too.
2 seconds.
It's like 10, 15 minutes of these two secret agents just constantly tricking each other into doing things. And then it ends with him about to garrote him in the way that we saw the fake James Bond get garroted at the beginning of the movie. He's able to withstand the strangling for so long, and then he gets the upper hand and strangles the other guy in like 2 seconds. Like, with this guy, his only weakness is his own weapon against him. It's like, the reason I carry this around is because one time I got choked and I almost died. I'll be out 10 seconds at max. But he gets him real quick. No neck snap, no nothing. But I don't know. I kind of like old fights like this. You know, we're so oversaturated now with like super choreographed fight scenes that look really great. They're cool. But they almost feel like they feel less real than these old ones where it's just two guys just punching the shit out of each other and wrestling around and putting each other into headlocks and stuff and kicking
and pulling each other's dicks out and jacking each other off.
Whoa. This is a kid's show, Jason.
Let that marinate for a second. Sorry. I just wanted to be included.
I feel like you weren't listening to anything I said with that remark.
No, I listened to you the whole thing. I was hearing you the whole time.
I was talking about how James Bond stomps on him and like kicks him in the head and stuff, and it just feels like a real brawl that you would see outside of a bar. It does not feel like a John Wick or like even a more modern James Bond. I think that kind of lived on up until the Brosnan era, and then the Craig times is when it became like he's an ape basically. He's stronger than everybody. He can sucker punch a guy through a wall. I remember seeing Casino Royale for the first time when Daniel Craig just like bulldozes through drywall, like Kool-Aid Man's through a wall. And like, holy shit, that's crazy.
How much more of this plot do we have left?
We're like 10 minutes away from the end.
Yeah, we're right about to be finished. There was little moments in this too that I thought were funny. Like Bond's like, "I'll pay you double," and he's like, "Yeah, you can pay me double if you kiss my foot," which I thought was funny. And Bond ends up using the explosive suitcase to make the distraction. They tussle. Steve described in great detail. And the briefcase was a huge focal point for this sequence where they used basically everything the briefcase could do all at once. He ends up using the knife inside of the briefcase, and he steals his money back right at the end of the scene. I thought that was great.
He also uses his own garrote watch against him to kill him.
Yeah. They used what was supposed to be Nash's escape route to get off the train. He tries to wake up Tatiana. She's all knocked out still. Then we get one of the best like chases in a movie I think I've ever seen, where he throws Tatiana into the back of a flour truck, and then he's driving all hilariously through like the hills, and while a helicopter is just like trying to drop grenades on them. It was a very video game moment. And I wrote, Jesus Christ, he shoots the passenger and the grenade falls into the helicopter and then it explodes. And then when the helicopter crashes, it explodes again. So maybe they were like, it had like a bunch of grenades.
Listen, they spent $2 million on this thing. They're going to show a couple more explosions there, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Hollywood ain't shelling out millions for no explosions. I'll tell you that much.
It's true.
Also, for some reason, that pillow that she's using when she's sleeping looks like it would be extremely good. it's like rectangular and it has like a perfect head indent. I'm like, I want that pillow for me. Like something out of Star Trek or something. You know, like
I love that. That's what you took away from this film.
I like that pillow.
It's a nice pillow. I like that pillow. Also, trains.
Trains and pillows, my two favorite things. One day I'll get to go on a train that I can sleep on.
I have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Why did James Bond have a captain's hat on through most of this final sequence?
Because he found it on the boat. You just put it on.
Well, okay.
Listen, if you had the captain's hat, would you not put on the captain's hat?
I would put on.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, I would say that. I am Captain Phillips after all.
Oh my god,
it's right in the name.
I would also put on the captain's hat. Generally, if I find random hats, they go on my head, which is how I get lice so often.
Wow.
I was trying to think of a joke about the flour truck, but I don't think it's not developed enough. Maybe by the end. I've hyped it up. I'm not going to do it. Flower truck exit, cool. Right. I like the idea of a flower truck in a chase because you can have flower petals like flying out of the back,
flying all over the place.
And they didn't really accomplish that in this, but I do like the idea of it. Like I'd like to see that in sort of a more a more cinematic movie where they take a little bit more time with the artistry of sort of the action sequences, you know, like a cool moment where like the back of a flower truck gets exploded and there's a bunch of like different color petals going flying in all directions, like everywhere all at once or whatever type of cinematography or special effects.
Imagine if this sequence went full anime, those flower petals would be
that's what I'm picturing, but in real life.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I don't think there's a single flower in Attack on Titan.
No, but that's the music that's playing while I think of flowers. Final Fantasy uses flowers like that too. So,
my neck. Yeah, so she sleeps in the back of the truck, and they escape the helicopter. It blows up, and then they get into a boat. And...
Well, they do cut over to the villains. That's where
my favorite part of the movie.
Clamp threatens. Clamp's sweating profusely, and she kills the guy with her.
Well, she
knife.
No. She thinks she's gonna die, so that's why she's sweating. And then he calls in a big leather jacket wearing Igor-looking dude
with a scar on his face.
Yeah. And then you can't tell whose boots these are. This is the issue I had, but I think that was part of it. Is that like there's three of them standing there. One of them clicks their heel, and the knife comes out, but you don't know which one it is. So you're like. You think maybe it's Clamp because she thinks she's going to die. She's going to defend herself. But then it turns out that Chessman is like, I did everything perfectly. It's your people that failed. The plan was airtight. Nothing wrong happened on my end. And then Blofeld is like, well, you know what happens when we fail. And he pets the cat. And then the guy kicks him, gives him a little stab in the shin with his boot knife. His boot blade sticks into his leg. And then Blofeld says, I think, 12 seconds. Sooner or later, we should develop an anti-venom or a venom that is quicker. He's basically like, we need a faster working poison, people. Get on it. 12 seconds is 10 seconds too long.
Which is great.
It's also a piece of I'm not necessarily foreshadowing, but it's putting the smoking pistol into her lap for later. You see it here, and it's like, well, why isn't this being used against James Bond? Don't worry, folks. There's still 10 minutes left in the movie. You'll see that boot knife being used again.
Oh, also the boot knife is the big guy.
Yes, that's what I just fucking said.
Right. Sorry, I was watching it because
I was watching the movie instead of listening to you tell me what happens in the movie.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. He kicks him, he dies, and then they're like, well, but you're not done yet, lady. And then we cut back to James Bond, and they go in the boat. They take the guy that was supposed to be the ride, and they throw him in the middle of the ocean, or it's like a lake, I guess. Hilarious. I also kind of felt bad for him because that guy was just the ride, but he works for SPECTRE, so he's probably murdered children or something to get to his.
Yeah.
Or at least doesn't bring his shopping cart back.
Yeah. I have to return those flowers by noon.
Yeah, so we get that sequence. The high-speed boat chase has a great sequence where I think what happens is they need to go faster, but there's a bunch of barrels. But then one gets shot, and Bond's like, "Oh!" So he starts throwing.
They're leaking some sort of liquid.
And Tatiana goes, "Oh, well, we got all the barrels off, so we're gonna go faster." And he's like, "Just check this out, babe," and fucking shoots them. And then you get one of those classic Hollywood backlot.
This is what I said earlier.
Water explosions, which was
crate,
awesome.
This crate that they find on the boat tells you everything you need to know about what's going to happen in this sequence. He's like, "What's in there?" And she's like,
one flare, a flare gun, and a bunch of ammunition, and that's about it. And the captain's hat.
And then,
well, give
so
me
like,
that
okay.
captain's hat. Shut up.
I'll take that. You can have the whistle. If anything happens, blow it and I'll come help you.
And then basically, like as you said, Jason, it's an okay boat chase. I like boat chases in movies too. Some of the James Bond, I think, has some of the best boat chases as a franchise. I think that I've ever seen in any movie.
I think Live and Let Die has a crazy one too, where he like.
GoldenEye has one. A bunch of the Brosnan ones have some pretty good boat sequences, but there's also some good ones in the 80s too. It was like a huge thing, right? Like ocean sport and lake sport was like humongous in the 80s and 90s. So it was like that was a thing that you wanted to do, and people were like, it'd be so cool, a world of water. And then Waterworld was born. Sea-Doo battles happened. Anyway, the end of the sequence, the water fills with barrels, and for some reason the people chasing them are like, "Everyone slow down. We need to figure out what these barrels are full of." And then Sean Connery shoots the oil with a flare, and then they all blow up. A couple of these guys did not seem like stuntmen to me. I don't know if you guys have seen movies before. I think you have. But usually stuntmen, when they're aware they're going to be lit on fire or when they're around fire, they've been prepared mentally and physically for the flames. But there's a few guys who are like they look like they're legitimately like freaking out that fire touched them. A couple of people jumping off that boat did not look like they were jumping out of the boat because it was part of the movie. It was because they were scared for their lives.
There's also a part I'm looking at a scene right now where like the screen is like full gray and black with smoke. They all got cancer from this, right?
I don't know.
I mean, apparently got super cancer. I'm going to hell.
Yeah, Bee's ruthless today. So they get into that situation. They're back they're in Venice. He's like, we're almost to Venice. We're gonna drop the decoder. They're having a nice little meet cute, little orange juice and prosecco and vodka. They're having mimosas, and a woman comes in with a gray wig on, who looks a lot like Klemp, and is she? They do kind of like a funny little.
You're right. She looks a lot like Klemp, and then later you're like, she is.
Yeah. For a moment, I was like, gray wig, confused.
I immediately was like, oh, Klemp's here. Cool. She's going to try and stab him or something. And she doesn't. I mean, she does actually, I guess by the end of the scene, she does. But she just tries to steal the typewriter.
Yes.
I mean, not the type.
But what I think is extra funny about this is she just grabs it and tries to walk out with it, like, and Bond's on the phone, faced the other way. He's like, just leave that right there, please, before he realizes what's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I thought was super funny. And it's a last ditch effort sort of situation where she gets it, and you think Tat's going to go with her, but Tatiana does the right thing and shoots Clem. And
there's a moment too
attacks her also.
She does leave, but like Clem could have left as well, right? But Clem is like giving her like this real sourpuss, like, you motherfucker, you almost fucked up my whole goddamn shit. And she's about to shoot him, and then Tatiana like pops back in the room and like takes her out. And then she attacks James Bond with a knife boot. You didn't mention the knife boot, Jason. Chekhov's flaming knife boot.
I wish it was flaming. That'd be incredible.
Well,
it pops out. It pops out. It's just
it's a fire blade.
Fire.
But I think one of the funniest things I've ever seen is her trying to and failing to stab somebody with a kick. Like she's like this little old lady, like yeah, and he's holds her against the wall with a chair at distance, and she can't
which is
get
also
out
hilarious.
She's tiny. It's crazy. Like it is. This is the kind of shit that I wanted throughout the movie. A little old lady trying to stab James Bond with a knife boot is funny, and then she gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends, I guess.
And then it's during the credit at the very beginning of the credits, it's revealed that this was just part one of the net. Like this was the movie was just getting going, because I haven't seen Goldfinger, but I assume it just kind of continues.
Not really. Goldfinger is like its own story too. Like you don't have to have seen this movie too. Okay. Goldfinger is one that I watch pretty often because I like that one a lot. It's got Oddjob in it. A man who kills you with a hat.
Yeah, he throws his hat. He throws a shoe, honestly.
There's a pretty cool scene where he does kill somebody with that hat. Doesn't cut their head off or anything, but it breaks their neck because he puts like a metal brim inside it or something. It's like Xena's ring. You know Xena's ring? What's it called? A chakra? No. What's it called?
The chakrams.
The chakram. Yeah.
The chakrams. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like
I
that.
have one somewhere.
I figured that you have dressed up as Xena at some point.
I have.
I don't think I have anything else left to say. Now I'm just thinking about Xena. I get to go to Xena now.
I wrote, they live happily ever after, I guess. Interesting. It says the end. Then it says not quite the end. Then it says Bond will return in Goldfinger, just like Marvel movies do now. And then I made a note that the bad guy's name is just question mark. So that is the end of the movie.
I don't even think Blofeld is in Goldfinger.
Well, it's the guy that turns everybody to gold, isn't it?
Yeah, Goldfinger.
Goldfinger himself.
Old Goldfinger.
Oldfinger.
Oldfinger.
Somehow that gives me the ick.
Yeah, it's gross.
I thought I couldn't get any drier after watching this movie, but there we go.
Bee's never gonna.
When I cough, I can feel dust balls.
Dust balls was my nickname in high school.
Oh, the fucking guy. Well, should we go into the Home Alone of it all and just fucking see what's up with that?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Ooh-wee. What's up with
if
that?
If you had to pick one,
what do you think the Home Alone
of it all? The Home Alone of it all?
Can someone please tell me when the Home Alone?
I really gotta know.
When is the Home Alone of it all?
What is the Home Alone of it all?
Now that's the Home Alone of it all.
I made that.
You did a really good job.
Thank you.
I would watch that for 2 hours before I watch James Bond again.
I mean, Home Alone is a movie that I could easily just watch over and over and over again. It's so
yeah. Well, so okay, B, you've been here before. You're in the 5 times club now. You're in the big leagues. This segment is the Home Alone of it all, which is the idea that in the movie Home Alone, there's a sequence where Kevin McAllister sets up the traps for the robbers. That's sort of what you're there to see. We posit that I think every movie kind of has the like setup and then the payoff moment where you watch through what you're there to see. So we want that from you. But in addition to that, we'd like your final thoughts and your rating. So the floor is yours. Please let us know.
All right, so the Home Alone of it all was the frickin' sharks with frickin' laser beams on their heads.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Very good.
Oh wait, that wasn't in this movie. That was in Austin Powers. The fembots with the machine guns and their jubblies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That
Also,
was also Austin Powers.
Oh shit.
I guess the boot knife.
Boot
Let's
knife.
go with boot knife.
Was there a boot knife in any Austin Powers movies? I feel like maybe there was at one point.
I think there should have been. If there
who's
was.
who's got a knife in that boot, baby? Yeah.
My rating is 0 Swedish-made penis enlarger pumps out of 5.
Out of
And my final thoughts were, I hated this movie.
Okay. Well,
Sorry, guys.
it's okay.
fine.
I didn't particularly like it that much either. Well.
You thought we were gonna hate Cool as Ice the way you hated From Russia with Love,
Yes.
which is incredible to me.
I mean, at least Cool as Ice is like fun bad. This is just a slog.
Yeah. You're
Yes, that's.
absolutely
I mean,
right.
that's absolutely what it is. It's just kind of it feels stale, even though it was probably fresh at the time. It's hard to watch. It's an old movie, and a lot of the time, older movies can be a little bit harder to watch because the sensibilities in filmmaking were different. But like, even this,
I like some old movies. This was like watching the cinematic version of Burnt Toast.
especially when you have something that is a franchise that was started in the 60s and is still going to this day. There are so many other James Bond movies that does everything that this movie does, only it's a lot more digestible and a lot easier to lose yourself in. Whereas this, I wanted to stop losing my mind while watching it. I did lose myself, then I did.
I don't think that's an excuse though, because like Doctor Who started in the 60s and is still going today, and Doctor Who slaps all the way through. There are definitely doctors that are better than others, but
I mean, even talking about doctors, Dr. No, the movie that came before this, is easily much more enjoyable than this movie and way less boring. Everything that's happening is kooky and fun. The locations are more interesting. You get to see Sean Connery in a Speedo. People are like dying in interesting ways. There's a guy with robot hands. Like somebody like goes into a giant room, an empty room, and there's just a disembodied voice being like, on the table, there's a tarantula. Take that tarantula and kill James Bond with it. So it's like, there's like weird stuff that's happening in that movie that doesn't happen in this movie. I mean, like the equivalent, I guess, is the Dr. Claw stuff, which is now still aped on to this day. But like, even in this, you're like, oh, even this thing that they started has been done way better in so many things beyond it.
This movie hit so hard it made 156 times its budget. Like, what were people watching that made them go?
That's because James Bond was a thing. They were like a new James Bond, and there was probably one other movie that came out that year. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, my Home Alone of it all is the train. As soon as I get to the train and I went, ooh, there's a train in this, and then realized that the rest of the movie pretty much was on the train. I was like, I like train stuff. And everything on the train is interesting because it's set on a train. Everything is slightly more interesting because they're in a train car talking, because they're at a train dinner talking, because people are, getting beaten up in a tiny room on a train, and you can see stuff moving outside the windows. And the subtle shake the entire time is keeping my brain engaged. And there's just sort of like a little sort of drip of dopamine that's being given to me just for the fact that the entire thing is set on a train. I will say, what that fucking train movie that came out a couple years ago with Brad Pitt in it, that movie, bad train movie.
Train to Busan or whatever.
No.
Bullet
I
Train.
said with Brad Pitt in
Bullet Train.
Yes, Bullet Train. Bullet Train is a piece of shit. Train to Busan, good. good train
It was
movie,
a
bad
zombie
train.
movie, right?
This movie, I would have preferred if the entire movie was on the train and they just were on a train the whole time. Anyway, train. That's my Home Alone of it all. My final thoughts are I'm pretty adept at paying attention in movies, even when movies are boring or even when movies are bad. I can usually still kind of at least cling on to the plot and try and figure out what's going on, especially when we're doing a discussion about it. I'll try a little bit harder than I regularly would. But this movie was almost impossible for me to pay attention to in certain parts, to the point that I forgot entire segments of it existed. Things that should be exciting weren't, and things that weren't exciting were deleted entirely from my brain. Thank God for the train is all I'll say, because without that train, I don't know if I would have survived this one, guys. That's not to say that if you like it, it's bad, because I do think that, like, if you like James Bond, there's a lot of James Bond stuff going on in this movie that you're going to enjoy. And I think that watching every James Bond movie is kind of a fun and important thing to do to understand the history of all of it. That said, I've done that before, and I've seen this movie before, and this movie does not exist in my memory banks. And as I said at the beginning of the show, a year from now, I probably won't remember anything about this movie except that there's a train in it that I liked. And a rating... I'm going to give it one mysteriously rectangular shaped pillow with no head dent in it, because with the head dent is what makes it good. But without the head dent, it's just a rectangle. Oh, I forgot to clap for me.
I had two Home Alones of it all this week. First Home Alone of it all was the Roma sequence, mostly because it reminds me so much of the silly James Bond stuff. I thought it was escalating. I thought the movie was gonna get weirder and crazier from there. Unfortunately, it doesn't. But I liked all of the weirdness of that sequence. The second Home Alone of it all is the final push, the climax, and then a chase after a chase after a chase. I love that stuff. I like chaos in movies, and I like how absurd the boat chase was. I feel like the story was fine from a James Bond point of view, but it just felt like it was getting going right at the end of the movie. Like the last half hour, if this movie was 30 minutes long and it was just from around the end of the train to like the end push, that would have just been fine, because there's so much boring people talking in rooms about stuff I don't care about and stuff that doesn't matter, that it really kind of takes away from everything.
I think
but
that's
there
the
is
main part, not to interrupt you, sorry, but like, I mean, I am interrupting, but that's the main thing that really was a downer for me, is that there was a lot of discussion going on that didn't particularly matter. There was a lot of misdirection and things that were sort of sprinkling the plot and the plan that we're supposed to be understanding, but none of it actually really mattered by the end. And I think that's why I was having such a difficulty with it, is because from scene to scene, nothing really seemed all that connected.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It did have a lot of like them talking and me being like, I don't know what any of this has to do with anything. You're just saying stuff that might intrigue somebody in 1963 because the Iron Curtain is down and the red threat is real. Like, they're talking about the war we're part of right now. So that might have been what that was in there for. Like literally JFK, this was his favorite movie. And then don't say
of when Russians get fucked up in movies.
Yeah. So listen, I think that graphically, like cinematography wise, it's such a jump from the first movie to the second movie that I think this movie is an important movie. And you guys are going to hate me. I think this movie is a 4 out of 5. And I say that I know I almost
honestly
changed my rating.
Does not affect me at all. I'm like, that's fine. That's fine.
I almost changed my rating. I almost dropped it but because of our conversation. But coming out of the film, I was like, no, that was a super coherent, like, James Bond movie for what it was. Like, it changed the game in a lot of ways. It completely reinvented what James Bond could be in the second movie. I think it's very important. Unfortunately, it's boring, right? But in 1963, you were like, that's it. Well, I don't know how we go anywhere else in movies from this point. So I kind of had to go back and think about it like that. So I do give this movie a 4 out of 5, and I'm unwavering on that point. I do also give this movie tussle in a small room, a chase in a truck with a helicopter, and then a boat chase.
That's what happens at the end of the movie.
The most important, most boring movie you've ever seen.
I mean, this movie is also...
I'm understanding, though, because this movie came out in 1963, why everyone started doing drugs in the 60s. Because if this was what there was to do...
Yeah. Half the audience was like, what's that weed thing again?
I mean, this movie is also well received by critics and audiences. So, like, I know that I'm in the minority here when it comes to my opinion of this movie, but I think that there are so many other James Bond movies that are maybe not as good in terms of technical filmmaking and in terms of structure, but I don't care.
More fun.
I'd rather see a guy get inflated and explode at the end of the movie than just somebody get choked to death with their own wristwatch.
But I had in that same scene at the very beginning, I had one moment where, like, James Bond literally, it's just a static shot of him, and he points up at the decoder, and the camera just goes like that up to it and then back down. I thought that was just such a cool, like, little camera move those are the kinds of things that I'm looking out for now when I'm watching film. And I didn't have a great time watching it, but that's not always, like, it's not my taste. If you ask my great grandfather, who probably went to a theater and saw it, he would be like, you don't know what it was like to be there. Do you know what it wasn't like to be there for? Episode 1. Okay. We know what it was like to be there for. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
when I was 8 years old and I saw Star Wars,
it slapped your face off of your face.
I left being like, everybody, we can shut Hollywood down. They've done it. They made the greatest movie ever made. And then I saw it 8 more times. And then I grew up and I was like, oh, this movie's actually kind of a piece of shit, but I still fucking...
You still fucking love it. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's when I had
anytime I'm sick, I put on episode 1 just to let the 25-minute long pod race scene lull me to sleep. It's great. Yeah. So I think that's the end of the show. What else?
Wait, I thought we were going to come up with new Bond names.
Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I kind of like my original ones, but I can try and think of some others.
I believe in you.
So Penelope Bang Bang was my original Bond girl name, but then I also came up with Decoder Fanny, which I think is pretty good too, right? During the show. Mm-hmm. So I think I'll go with Decoder Fanny this year.
I got one.
Okay.
Regina Stiletto.
Oh, wasn't it didn't we do stiletto early? Wasn't it like blow stiletto? I can't remember what it was. I remember it was something like that. B, do you have one?
Yes, Bacalia. Bacalia abortion.
Oh. Oh my.
From the movie
Code Hangry Abortia.
This is getting dark.
Only because you've heard
you
of
guys keep inviting me back. At this point, this is on you.
That's true. Well, how about a name for the James Bond movie?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
James Bond 007 in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Ooh, that's not the James Bond theme song.
No.
Wait, don't I have that here? Oh, I forgot that I had that here the whole time. That was the joke last time. Sorry, what was your James Bond girl's name again?
Mine or Jason's?
Yours.
The Cali abortion.
Right. There we go. And mine was Dakota Fanny. And James was, what was it?
Coat hanger abortion.
Oh God, you guys both. All right.
Coat hanger abortion. He's Russian. Well, she's from Bulgaria. Listen, we have to talk about our plugs so B can go to bed.
Okay. Time to get plugged.
All right, let me just plug this in right here and.
That's right. So B, you had a pretty active summer because that's when cons happen. Do you have anything that you'd like to plug? I know you got a movie or something, and we like to see what you're up to. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so the movie I was in last year, actually the one that I was in the murder hotel for, called A Farewell to Youth, is making its way through several different film festivals. It's won a few awards. So if you get the chance, check out A Farewell to Youth. If you're my mom, don't watch it because I have a very graphic adult scene in it. But otherwise, enjoy. And you can find me on all socials at OverlairB.
Sweet. Thank you so much for coming back. And we will have you back again for a better movie. Maybe even bring you back next Bond time, and you have a better Bond movie that you'll actually enjoy.
Yeah, we're watching Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we do, actually. Yeah. Jason, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Well, usually at this point I ask you what's cooking on the back burner for you. So why don't you go next? What's cooking on the back burner, Steven?
Well, as you guys all know, Stanland has completed its run. It's doing quite well. There's billboards and electric billboards and all sorts of ads for it everywhere. It's really cool. I am in it. I have a very small part in a few episodes as different characters. You can hear me at the beginning and end of most episodes saying things like, previously on Stanland, or next time on Stanland. But then you can also hear me in the episodes making crazy monster voices. But we also have something coming down the pipe with that is, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it, but I think it's okay. But if you are sub to the Sonar Network, we're doing some bonus episodes for bonus subs, and eventually it will be made open to public viewing. But we're doing basically like mini episodes that take place within the Stanland universe, and there's a 3-part miniseries coming with more planned after that, depending on the success of these. And I'm going to be one of the main characters in that, and I'm actually working on editing a bunch of the sound effects and stuff for it right now. It's really cool and fun, and I did my recording session last week, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I play an orc, and I speak like this the entire time. God damn it! And he hates playing D&D because he's really bad at it. But other than that, which is quite exciting, I am also working on a video game with a friend of mine, and that's called Tinyverse. It's still in works. We'll have more to speak about that as it goes, but I've been doing some artwork for it as well as some voices. And Darth Theorist, we're about to hit 60,000 subscribers probably in the next couple days, which is pretty cool. I released thank you. I released a Star Fox Star Wars crossover script today that I wrote, and I did all the music for, and I did all the voices for. It's fun. It's an hour and 10 minutes long because I can't stop myself from making it too long because I'm crazy. But it's really cool. I hope that you guys check it out and like it. If you don't like it, that's fine too, but I think it's pretty fun. As well as that, we have the Three-Eyed Theorist, which is also doing, I think we just passed 30K subscribers for that, which is also pretty cool. So keep subbing, keep liking, keep watching. We actually just brought in a new writer for that, and he's really good. Everything that I've been recording that he's written so far, I've been really enjoying. Our original writer is really good as well, but this guy, he has sort of a different flavor and vibe to everything, so it's kind of a nice mix between what our standard writer does and what this guy's doing. It's fun, and if you like Game of Thrones, you'll probably like it. So come check that out as well. And other than that, I think that you should watch this show.
Welcome to the Five Timers Club. I never thought this would happen.
I can't believe this is happening.
But I love to see this.
Oh my God, they're so beautiful.
If you have me on a sixth time, we're legally dating.
Yeah, on this show where I do all those weird things, which is fun.
Cool. Well, thank you. Congratulations on Stanland too. It popped off, man. You guys did it. I'd like to let you all know that I got like a very small part in that spin-off. So we can.
I think you're going to be in episode 2, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So in the show, there's going to be these sort of sub moments, and I think Jason's doing a couple of voices in the second episode, which I didn't know about because I think you were trying to make it a surprise, but that would have been kind of funny.
Well, I wanted to surprise you by like being like, I also am in it, and you were like, what? But you're literally editing it, so I'm
editing it. Yeah, I would have found out before everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, but I kind of I look up to Steven in his voice acting stuff, and I want to, as I'll talk about it in a second. I'm an announcer, but I want to use my voice to do things, so that's sort of my jump off point. But aside from that, I'd like to.
You just need to find a way to exercise that East Coast out of your damn mouth.
I'm working on it. Okay. I'm working on it. I'd like to let everybody know about this show. It's called Hey, Did You See This One? You can find it each and every week right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. It's a great show. We talk movies with our friends. Sometimes we talk a long time. Sometimes we talk a less long time, like this week. You can, like I said, find it every week at 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. I also, like I said, am an announcer, a professional wrestling announcer. I work with Bee in this professional wrestling announcing capacity. We have a show coming up on September 26th here in Toronto, the Great Hall. It's going to be a great show. There's not a lot known about it a month out, but last month we had a terrific show, and the month before that was great as well. So if you're in Toronto and you like wrestling, we have one of the most unique wrestling shows, I think, in the south of Ontario. So come check us out. You can find tickets at superkick.ca. You can also go to wrestling school if you want to, by checking out our training facility. On top of that, we have merchandise. I don't know if you know this. We've sold some of it too, so somebody wants it. We have t-shirts like the Grimoire Familiar Killers, our flagship show, our flagship month coming up next month, where we've put most of these babies to bed, and we're starting up the Scream franchise. We also have Freddy versus Jason, which is sort of off the beaten path of what we normally do. Speaking of which, we have Kill Aid, which you can get on a shirt. Twinkerbell, that goes back to our Hook episode. We also have, you saw this early in the show, Who, Why, Who, What, How occurs. Zardos, you can get that on our shirt. I'd like to make this a shirt, but I stole that. Maybe Steve, if you just draw this, we can put that on a shirt. We also have Corporal Tunnel from this very month last year.
That was the other thing, is that we wanted to come up with villain names. Corporal Tunnel Syndrome was the one that won last year. That became a shirt.
Yeah, so look out for that this month, where we might come up with a new James Bond villain. This is the most devious and ridiculous James Bond villain, but also makes perfect sense. I could imagine this guy popping up underneath James Bond and
I can't even remember what his whole deal was, but yeah, he was like a mole man.
He was like a mole man.
He could only breathe the horrible gases beneath the earth, and he's got vile, discolored green and yellow eyes, and he has shovels for hands.
As is tradition.
Yeah.
If you open up your third eye, though, you could be part of the Howie Mandela effect. I can't remember where that came from at this point.
That was Mike. Mike came up with that.
Yeah. And our newest piece of our newest T-shirt that we came up with is the Eldritch Millennial, which is fantastic. I love this shirt.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys.
So you can get all of these prints on shirts, on fucking shower curtains if you want, on a nice phone case or a button. You can have all of that stuff.
I guess I need to do an updated version of the Grimoire too. I have to draw
this same photo, but
maybe one more friend in there.
Yeah, once we select, because we still have to finish out Jason and Halloween, Freddy and Tucker.
I mean, technically, Halloween we've gone up to the. Oh, we have one more. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we have Halloween Resurrection, and then it goes into all the remakes and prequels and sequels. But that said, I actually wanted to read this from Tim here. One last wild fact is this movie: the rats were covered in chocolate, as they were gray lab rats that needed to look like sewer rats. So, I don't even need you to cite your source.
That's so weird.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, it's like, also, who would care? Like if you just
if rats aren't dirty enough, cover them in chocolate.
The rats probably all killed each other eating the chocolate off each other's backs.
What the fuck?
Or I don't think rats can eat chocolate either. Maybe they died from that too.
True. Well, this is Bee, you're in the 5 Times Club. You know what to do. We have to ask the same question that we ask each and every week. Could you please ask that for us right now?
Hey, did you see this one?
Well, folks, we've done it again. We figured out that Sean Connery is a weird, hairy piece of shit.
He's always punching women. I don't get it how he got away with it for so long.
He didn't get away with it. No one gave a shit. That's what happened.
Well, speaking from experience, you also get away with a lot of shit if people find you attractive.
It's weird.
I swear to God, it's why I'm not in jail right now.
Oh my God.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.